want to look at his game, and that is Elliot Winslow.
Sounds good. So, guys, we are back. Thank you for refreshing. I'm kind of hoping it's a little bit better. So let's see if you guys experience anything. If it's positive, just let us know in the chat.
Yeah. If it's negative,
If
let
it's
us know
negative,
anyway.
let us know too. But
We want to improve. Yeah.
Let us know the negative in a positive way.
Yes. So anyway, but we are at the very end of the last round. I'm gonna pull that game up. So mostly,
It
so we know.
clear to me again.
Is it clearer?
It's clearer.
Okay, good. And it is done. So get
And
ready.
congratulations, Jeff Anderson got that win.
Yeah. So can you, Judith, at some point, let's look at one of Elliot's games during this maybe this round or at some point during the tournament. It's sort of a special request.
Absolutely.
Paul and I have we relate to Elliot more than anyone else. So
also he complained that we didn't cover his games.
That too.
I see.
He's a squeaky wheel and he gets spoiled.
Well, he's got to play better.
Let's start with
you got like 7 GMs in the field. You got to play better. You got to get up
he
there.
went 6-0. He said we also weren't paying that much attention.
That might be true.
So let's start with his game now.
Let's get him out of the way.
He's playing Lenderman.
Oh, so fantastic!
Yeah.
Okay, let's stay here for a long time then. This is great.
Okay. It seems to me that this E5 thrust is not actually losing a pawn.
Well, wait a minute, Jim. This has been known for. This is a standard King's Indian.
But Paul, we're talking to an audience that may not know that. So I'm pointing out what's obvious to you, but maybe not obvious to everyone, that this is a well-known, as Paul's pointing out, exploitation of an apparent pawn sacrifice, which isn't a sacrifice at all.
So Elliot's playing sort of old school with knight d7.
Right.
And so that's, still a way to play. Now they usually play knight c6.
Yeah, it's a little passive compared to the other
old school stuff.
But it is old school and therefore has its merits. How do you rearrange your pieces?
We were talking with Ross Sodikov last week, and c5 is the move here. Yeah. So this is now black trying to generate some kingside attack and white trying to break through on the queen side.
Right, which is classical King's Indian material.
And Elliot knows this stuff pretty well.
Oh, yes.
Well, you'd think so, but there's been a lot of lapses in the
as evidenced in his Tuesday night games.
Actually, Elliot was saying that he has people watching his games, and then one day he's just playing like with no brain, and then the next game he's playing a positional masterpiece. So they think he's using an engine, and really,
I've witnessed him hang.
How do I relate to that?
To Adrian Kondakov, I actually witnessed it, like literally in an end game, hang a rook.
Yeah,
I've seen him beat Kyron Griffith in a beautiful technical. So yeah.
Well, I talked to Robert Hubner back in the 90s, and he would talk about he would be playing a game, and then a wall would just kind of come down, and you couldn't see anything. And that's just fatigue. That's age, that catches up with you. And also it's sometimes you have the real good energy, like when Elliot played his positional masterpiece, he might have been feeling top notch and firing on all cylinders. And another day he's just kind of out of sorts. And when you're young and vigorous and energetic, those types of things don't happen to you. So you can't relate. You think they must be using an engine. But no, some days you have it and some days you don't. Some games you have it, some games you don't.
So Black has some trouble getting his plan going, which is to play pawn f5. the knight is vulnerable at h5, and the queen and king are sitting on the same diagonal. So,
Yeah.
Black needs to find a way to play this position, and that's the issue here. How do I play this position? It's not easy.
I think he wants to fianchetto that knight, but how does the bishop get out of the way? And how do you get the other knight activated? You have to move your rook, which is counterintuitive because you want to play f5.
I think Black might have done better to have played the knight back to e8 earlier. But okay, here he comes.
I think e8 might have been a better square.
So now White's probably going to play, b4. These two moves will be thrown in, b4 and b6.
Yep. Now, there's no point in playing a5 to slow it down a little bit from Black's point of view.
Black can do that. Black can think about doing that, but he has to be very careful because then the b6 square gets weak.
Correct.
But, Black should still be thinking of the king side, but, what to do, how to break through. It's, Lenderman saying, I'm going to completely ignore you over here and concentrate on the queen side and say to Elliot, what are you doing?
Show me what you got.
Yeah.
He doesn't think you have anything.
So, Black needs to move the knight at f6 in order to play f5, or, engineer some sacrifice with knight f4, but nothing seems to be, very concrete right now.
And I'll just note, since it just deserves to be said, Conrad Holt is currently playing Christian Clemens.
So, let's check that game out too.
And
Yeah.
Manas is playing Gadir, and Alec, so.
Yeah, so our
okay, Elliot, that's enough of your game.
And Theo is playing Alexander Ovaletsky, so a lot of good names.
That's you for the tournament, Elliot. Sorry.
We're throwing all our mechanics players at them. See if we can slow them down.
Next game up is Conrad Holtz, Grandmaster Conrad Holtz, who's with White here, against Christian Clemens, who's with Black here.
Well, look at this knight g7 move.
Yeah, it's interesting. Another fianchetto knight.
Yeah, I mean, this is either the most brilliant move of all time or just like, what?
Well, I do think there's a point to it. Maybe
sure, of
trying
course.
to play bishop f5 and...
You got to play every move with a point. But, I mean, So,
and Christian will come in the chat and say, I don't know what I was doing, or
it's great to play with your own ideas, and this is so I'll take my hats off to everybody who does that.
I couldn't agree more. They
play with your own ideas.
Yeah. Amen to that, because it's really, that's what it's about. Who cares if you play a grandmaster move that other grandmasters have played? What's that say about you? You just studied in a grandmaster game. It's his move. It's not your move.
So
play your own ideas.
Manas Paldi's in the chat just raving because he's playing grandmaster right now, right?
Oh, Eddie's in the chat too, huh?
Yeah. So of course, his full concentration is on playing the grandmaster right now. So
I guess not.
So he said his one of two wishes has been fulfilled in playing a grandmaster. The second is winning a tournament of this type. So
let's speak into how he's doing. Let's speak into.
We can't comment on this because he's watching.
Yeah,
but,
just a general sense how he's doing, and then we move on. But just so you know, guys, why you shouldn't chat while you're playing a grandmaster, right?
I say, Manas, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Take your shot. And
knuckle down, buckle down, do it.
Yeah.
And for all players, when you're in the chat doing this, you've just assured yourself that we will not be covering your game.
Yes.
so
let's
if you want to go back on YouTube later and watch it and see yourself.
What do we have here? Tell me who's playing, who's white, and who's black.
Thank you. So I moved on so we can actually talk about some chess. We have Theo BSS here with white against Russian Grandmaster Alexander Ovaletsky.
Okay.
Good pronunciation.
Something like that.
All right. So this
is it with me.
This is a local boy versus Russian grandmaster.
And local boy very close to our hearts because
Yeah.
right. So
And is he kind of like an expert, if I remember correctly?
yeah, Theo
Yeah.
is an expert. I think around 2100 or so.
He's trying to crack 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go for it, Theo.
And I'm actually looking up exactly what's his rating.
I think 2170. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, 2175 exactly.
All right. That's
So-
strong. Strong expert. Bordering on weak master. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay.
Well,
Kind of liking black a little bit here.
Black's active here. It's true. Black has a nice active game, and maybe is thinking about playing B5, but
Yeah. Dicey.
yeah, then Queen A6. You know, there's ramifications of Queen
Yeah.
A6. But there's a
It-
lot of expansion for Black here. It's a very sharp position.
Very sharp position.
I mean, if Karpov is white, I would say, you know, if
I think
Karpov's
he's-
black.
I think A6 was a defensive move rather than an aggressive move threatening B5. I think it was just so that the A pawn wasn't hanging and it takes B5 away from white's minor pieces.
Sure. Well, I mean, this is still anybody's game.
Yes.
If you want to see strangulation in chess, it just ended.
Okay.
Ah,
Rui, you should see Rui's final position.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
Letitia Nathan.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Let
Yeah,
me find it, but
if-
it might be gone actually. So
Okay,
sorry.
that's all right.
Yeah.
High F pawn.
Let's speak into Michael Road maybe.
Yeah. Michael.
Or we have Flights of Fancy.
Oh, yeah. Michael.
Michael against Chess to the Sun, which is I think Balaji, right?
Yeah, that's a tough.
So
Tough
which
match.
game do you guys want?
Let's take a look at both of them.
Okay, so first we have Michael Walder against Balaji. So this actually is supposed to be a quite even game because of Michael, I think he's slightly underrated online compared to his true strength, over the board strength. And Balaji is a little bit higher rated than his true over the board strength. So if you put them together, I think it's should be a very even game over the board.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if it's online.
That's an interesting position. Very sharp. Sharp. Anything can happen here.
This
It's
was
very
Rui,
sharp.
Rui Lopez, apparently.
Oh,
I
really?
can see that. I can see
Yeah.
this coming out of a Roy Lopez
And
with you know some
who
long.
was black again? Tell me.
Black is Balaji. So
And
Michael.
Balaji, what's his background?
He's around high school student, middle school, high school student. He's definitely an expert, if not already a national master. I don't know.
He's a FIDE master,
FIDE
2400.
master. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And he's
Well,
got a
that's a little bit
2,500
stronger than
rating.
Michael then.
I mean, this is not.
Yeah, sorry
I mean,
about
on paper, this is you know, Black is by far the higher ranked player,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's still a game, and Michael is Walter. Flights of Fancy is an experienced, strong player and can pull a
And always
rabbit
entertaining.
out of a hat.
He's very entertaining games.
Yeah, he loves to attack.
I'm always
Let's,
kind of impressed by his knack for the attack.
And
Sure.
let's not forget about Elliot.
Yeah, let's look at it.
See if he's made progress.
And
I thought we were
Safari's
done with
game.
him for the tournament. We spent so much time on his game so far. But I don't mind looking at it.
So
There we go.
Elliot is black here on the bottom of the board. Somehow we get it switched again. And Alexander Lenderman from New York.
Ooh, I don't like
is
this. Where's the knight
white.
going? The knight has no escape squares.
Luckily, it's black's move.
Otherwise, it would be horrible.
Well, h4 would win the knight.
Yes, so he's got to either play his king over or create an escape square from the knight, which looks like that's the only escape square.
But either way, he's preparing. It looks like f4 probably, right?
Well, if
h4
I'm white, I don't want to play f4
Why not?
because
I agree.
that would let the bishop out,
Right.
the black bishop out. But I would like to maybe pick up that knight by playing pawn to h4.
Yeah, h4 is the real threat here.
So maybe black's going to play king g7, but that looks pretty.
Or maybe king g8. Just keep the bishop.
King g8 loses the pawn at h6 after
Oh, good
h4,
point. Good
knight
point.
h7.
Yeah. Okay, king g7 then. I didn't like that, but I see you're right. You have to play it.
I'm not sure what black has to do here. I mean, you can get very frustrated in positions like this and just lash out with some unsound sacrifice or something.
Yeah, Elliot.
Finally, queen d7 is a possibility, and if h4, knight h3, I mean.
But then what if I play knight f3 or knight e2 or something like that?
Yeah, well, there we go. I mean, but I'm just pointing out that black has one other way of like
good point.
trying
Yes.
to trade the knight.
It does not look like a thing I would want to do.
Yeah, chess is well. Black's got his pieces all stepping on each other's toes,
Yeah.
right?
There's no
Abel?
question that this is part of the spatial advantage that White has. White has freedom of movement for his pieces. He can shift them from one side of the board to the other very quickly. Black does not have that possibility. He has less space, less maneuverability. So the pieces, as Paul said, are stepping on one another.
All
There's
right,
not enough spaces
so-
for all of them to get to their optimal squares.
Should we move on to another game?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's peek into
Safarli.
Safarli. Okay.
There we
Sounds
see
good. Thank you. So Altosh is with white here against Satwik, who's black,
Yikes.
and Konrad just won his game against Clarence.
Ooh, crippled.
This is horrible for black.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't think he's gonna last for long.
Oh, this is just
So you think that the
positionally.
GM's going to win this?
It's hard
Positionally,
to, it's hard
black
to
is
watch
destroyed
because,
here.
yeah, White has everything you could possibly want with even material. It's still like, Black's king can't get castled safely very easily. Perhaps it can at one point, but I just shift one of the rooks to the D file. Probably the wrong rook that I would play, but then the knight is almost free to move with an exposed attack on the queen. So where does the queen go? And again, you're not developing your king side. It's just rough. Yeah, there you go. That's the right rook, by the way, Paul.
Hey, just before we go any further, I just want to say we're all really blessed that we were able to experience a tournament like we had yesterday and a tournament like today. Given all the things that are going on, we're still able to have chess and keep chess going. So I'm very proud of that, and we're all happy about it. We all love it. The players hope they're having a good time, and it's just an exciting thing to be able to do.
Yes, and if you're watching
more
us, if you
request.
can
Oh, sorry.
subscribe to our channel, that's a little bit of help support mechanics. That would be good for you because you're gonna get special treatments, but it's also showing your support if you subscribe to our channel.
And Judith and I like to put on a good show. So if we say we're going to give you special preferential treatment, you know that you're going to get something worthwhile. So subscribe to our channel and just kind of help us keep doing what we do.
Yeah, where else are you going to find analysis like Paul Whitehead's?
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. But
That can go either way. That can go either way.
yeah, that can go either way. Let's
Well, I'd like knight b6 here, threatening knight c4.
yeah. Yeah, sure. There's moves. I mean, there's
Or
moves
knight
all over the
e3.
place here.
Knight e3 with the same idea.
Yeah, and White's just got a nice grip on the position, no matter what. Positionally,
Yeah, it's a good try by Black because now he can castle hopefully without suffering too much.
Um,
I would try to press black so that castling becomes less and less desirable. Oh, okay. Now who's playing white again, Judith?
White is the
Farley.
Grandmaster. So
See,
Grandmaster.
okay, then I won't criticize C3 as sharply as I would have.
Yeah.
Probably
I
right.
think 93 was superior. Yeah, now he plays it.
how about Jim Tarjan? How's he doing?
Yeah.
So
be interested in that.
actually, now that you mentioned, Jim Tarjan is playing Jeff Anderson, who was in your class. I think first or second time you had
Is
that.
that right?
Yeah, and Jeff Anderson, he's a veteran player. Sometimes he comes down to mechanics. I think once or twice I've seen him in the
He
past
played
year.
the Rapid. He played
He
the Rapid
played the
last year.
Rapid, so he is a fan of
I'm
the
like
Rapid.
black here, Paul.
Yeah, the Grandmaster is playing. I mean, yeah. There's no doubt about it. Black has the two bishops and a dynamic advantage here.
You might have to play Rook D8, but so what? You still got all your assets.
Yeah, nice position for Black.
So
There's no
Black
doubt
is
about
the
it.
Grandmaster here, Grandmaster Jim Tarjan, and playing against Jeff Anderson.
Okay, Rook
With white.
C6 might
That's
be
a nice
superior.
move too, because the Rook actually is going to be well placed on B6.
Yes, I agree with you.
A nice move.
That's a Grandmaster's to feed in.
Black can even think about playing pawn to C4 in these positions as
Interesting.
to target. There's all kinds of ideas here.
Why don't we give a shout out to
I like this move
F-Con
too.
and take a look at Javier Silva against Christopher Yu?
Yeah, I
Okay.
was thinking about
Oh
that.
yeah, always like to see.
Yeah, just
Christopher's
as
game.
this game is the game of seniors, that game is a game of juniors, right? two local juniors. Christopher Yu is a rising star on his way to becoming
No question.
Well, I don't know if he has a chance to become the youngest Grandmaster. Do you know?
Well, he's what, 12 or 13?
13, I think.
13.
No,
Yeah.
Partakan already became a Grandmaster at 12.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There have been some others too, I think.
But you know,
It's amazing.
to me
This
that-
is actually in modern chess, this is one of the most amazing records that hasn't been broken. Now, for many years, is Karyakin being the youngest Grandmaster.
Yeah.
Still at 12 and some months. It's an extraordinary that these times when these young players are showing all this promise and everything, that he's still the youngest Grandmaster ever is amazing to me.
and to me. Now this is interesting. Can't you take?
Yeah,
this-
that's a nice little looking move here in a
can you
way.
take this-
Now look
Okay,
at the
but-
time. Look at the time. Like Javier is like not used that much time
Oh,
at
so
all.
you're going to run the H pawn against the A pawn? That's the idea. I see.
But I mean, okay, but after Rook takes C3, Rook takes B4. Yeah, that's the problem with this idea.
Good point. You just lost the pawn.
Well, I think you were bound to lose a pawn anyway.
I agree.
With all these things hanging here.
Yeah, now you're just gonna lose, right?
Yeah, but yeah.
I think you lose.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to
No way
stay
for White
defending
to
the
do
A2.
anything quickly enough here.
No.
Should we jump back to Elliot? That game looks like it's made some progress.
Oh, good,
Okay, sure.
good. Finally, some progress in this game.
But he's
Elliot,
not going to be
I-
able to
I-
yell at us now.
I'm trying to give Elliot his money's worth.
Yeah.
Because he says that he comes back and looks at the broadcasts.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting.
Well, Elliot.
Um,
Elliot
No,
is.
he does a lot for the mechanics, and and sometimes we need that feedback if we're missing something or if we're not given props where it should be given. Let us know because
Well, my feedback is, can he He can play knight d5, but is that any good?
Well, the knight takes and covers
Yeah.
the queen. So
Yeah, it's the classic desperado sacrifice that black has here. Knight takes d5. Elliott must be thinking about it, but he doesn't play it, and I'm surprised.
me too. I don't see why not.
Well, the endgame might not be so bad. I mean, again, he's got the chance to play knight d5 here.
I would do it. What have you got to lose? You know, you're getting crushed otherwise.
Maybe. He's maybe looking for some other thing like rook b8, maybe. Black's position's still kind of hanging together here. The problem with knight d5 is maybe white trades and then plays rook d1.
And you can't defend the d6.
Yeah, I mean, Elliott's position's kind of hanging together here. And maybe still knight d5 is still possible for black. That's a tactic that you see
That's a good point,
often in
Paul.
the opening and not in the...
Yeah, it's a good point, Paul, because if he could trade the rooks, then that is not a threat. That d6 pawn is not going to be attacked so easily. So I think if he plays pawn takes pawn, for example, trade the rooks and play knight d5.
Or play bishop e8 even. Yeah. Okay, so white's transferring. Okay, so yeah, why not play knight takes d5? That's a little bit of a mystery here. Elliott's,
I would have to ask the question too, Paul, because I don't understand it.
yeah.
Altosh did win his game just right now, so.
Okay, and now knight b5. Ugh.
Well, maybe you can play pawn takes pawn.
Here comes. Oh, this is
Starting to hurt.
horrible.
It's starting to hurt. But just
Yeah,
think
black did not. Black should have played knight d5.
Yeah, pawn takes pawn. Now, he can still hang on by the skinny. Oh, maybe not.
He has to give up the exchange. Oh, maybe
That wasn't good.
Maybe it was good. Mate, rook f6, king h7. White's trying to find a mate here. Good for Elliott. Good for Elliott here.
Elliott's got 38
I don't see the white mate.
Gusanov won his game.
And
Look at
Christopher
how much
Lee
time
did-
white has compared to black.
I don't see white's mate here. And plays rook f5, a temporizing move.
Yeah, because he's thinking now, rook g5, knight f8.
Oh yeah, rook g. Yeah, that's a very, very good. Oh, Elliott.
Yeah.
And now what?
Does that help? It
That
does.
loses everything. Rook g5, rook g8, rook f8, and then rook e8. Loses a piece.
Yep. Everything falls apart now. Yep.
I think Elliott should have played knight d5, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, he has some questions to answer.
Okay, Elliott, we looked at your game.
We came, we saw.
Yeah, we
Let's
came,
look
we
at the-
saw, looked at your game.
Back the top board where the Russian Grandmaster is playing Theo. Let's see how it looks to you
And
guys.
Theo's hanging in there.
Theo is hanging in there and he has the
Yeah.
better time. The Grandmaster is down to 40 seconds and
Yeah,
Theo is still
the Grandmaster can't believe it. What's going on here? But look at White is hanging tough here.
There's still a lot of play here. Like, we're in the middle game.
Yeah. Yeah, only one set of minor pieces and one pawn. So if knight takes c4, pawn to b5, yeah.
Balaji beat Michael Walder in their
Yeah.
game.
So there's a trick here that White could fall for. If knight takes c4, it looks like black plays pawn to b5. And so now the threat is to take on c4. So if black plays pawn to b5, then a4. So black is sort of trying to roll up the queen side and at the same time prevent White from playing pawn to e4. So
Kyron Griffith is also 2-0 now.
nice, Kyron. Yeah, I mean, black has got a bit of a grip here on White. and White's pieces are not they're aiming it not much. So Black is better here.
Yeah, that bishop on g3 is not hitting anything of any importance. So that's the best piece.
And White can't play pawn to e4. Black is just kind of rolling up the position here.
Yeah.
And he's playing on all three sides of the board. He can play pawn to b5. He can play pawn to g5 and h5. He's got a grip on the center. It's just it's discouraging for White in his position.
Yes, it's very hard to find any way to improve your position.
But now rook c4. What's going on here? Can Theo play rook c4?
Apparently. That's a way to improve your position.
Yeah, seriously, the Grandmaster falls for this. Wow.
That's astounding.
Nice.
Well, what about queen b?
Rook c7. I mean,
rook c7.
Yeah, and they played it. You guys are calling the moves. And then
good for Theo. This is the way to play.
Queen b2 was played.
Yeah. Now queen c1. White's a pawn up. No panicking. No, don't panic. Just you're pawn up.
No panicking has been called. We do not panic here.
I would have preferred to try to evict the queen right away with queen c1.
I agree, Paul. There's no reason not to try to trade queens. Like queen a1 probably.
Yeah, queen a1.
Oh, no, the knight on d2 hangs. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah. See, you can't leave your opponent's pieces deep in your territory. Not to say that this isn't good, but this is the second time I've seen Theo in two games sort of not pick the straightforward continuation, which
now White's bishops look good all of a sudden.
Yeah.
If he trades one, I'm not sure I would have done that.
And this is
Wow, this is tense as the time is getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time is a factor.
Theo's doing great.
I think so.
Yeah, he's doing great. Playing fast, playing good moves.
And let's just make
Black is
small
toying with pawn to f. It's taking on f3. But I let him do it.
Yeah, I don't think he could have.
All right, now pawn e4.
E4 is it? It's indicated.
Yeah, Theo's playing a great game here.
Although the time is narrowing.
Yeah. I mean,
he's taking too much time.
He goes for the tactics and loses a piece. Unbelievable.
I don't understand. He was clearly superior.
Okay, yeah, this is just wrong. I don't
On many
understand.
levels.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Play bishop d6.
Yep.
It's over now.
Yeah, it kind of slipped away there. Huh?
Yeah.
Bishop a1.
He's going to look to push those pawns, try to do something.
Yeah, it's hopeless.
Yeah, but he had a pawn. The Black needs to try to do something, though. It's a little difficult. Black should be taking on. He doesn't want to take on a7 because he'll lose the pawn.
Right.
So maybe Black is a little more tied up than it seems here. And he seems
Theo
to be,
offered a draw.
That's an interesting
Black's
move.
having some trouble making progress. And now he loses the pawn at a2, but wins the pawn at f5.
Now rook takes.
This is
savage.
just a lesson. It's a good chess lesson here for Theo.
It's savage.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be learned in these few moves, in a sense of just.
What was it? Like what? I mean.
Well, like I said,
Just blundered.
not picking the clear, not seeing or choosing the clear.
Which was queen c1.
position.
If you remember that position, queen c1.
Yeah, sort of giving your opponent an extra move here and there to do something.
And we are in
You
round.
You wanna nip things in the bud. You want to be as decisive in your execution as you were in the process of getting there.
But I mean,
Agreed.
resigning when 10 seconds left on each, I mean, do you want to play out these situations even if it's obvious, right?
I think. Well, this is you.
It's
White
about
still
10
has
seconds.
something to play for, I guess, but he resigned.
Yeah, he resigned. Theo resigned.
Yeah, I think it was a good place to resign.
We have
Well-
some action games in the third round here.
Okay.
We have Milin Mighty, who's a master kid, against Conrad Holt.
Yeah.
Christopher Yu is playing the number 1 seed.
Okay, let's pick a game and slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I pulled up a few games, so I don't
Oh,
have
I see.
to.
I see. Okay.
I
And
don't
as
have
you-
to pull up
I
while
get
we have to switch. So I'm going. I pulled up all the interesting games in the top
I
6,
get
7,
you. I'm
and now
on board
I'm
now.
going back. So I'm slowing down now. Christopher.
No, I know what you're saying.
No,
and
you're
I
just
agree.
fine, Judith. You're just fine.
No, I'm not gonna switch this fast.
I'm just used to criticizing, so
And good criticism makes one better, right? So it's good.
Okay, so we have the shaky Russian grandmaster.
Well, now he just survived a gauntlet with Theo, and now he's got Christopher Yu.
And I think in the first game, I'm not sure what happened in his first game, but I seem to remember there was, a little bit of maybe tentative play. I think, yeah, Christopher Yu is going to be a good challenge for him. We'll see what happens. This is a very slow opening for White here in this kind of Grunfeld
it's
looking queen pawn thing. What is this?
It's almost like an apology opening. Like, I apologize for playing so slowly.
On the other hand, the computers have shown us that you can pretty much play anything
Yeah, sure.
within reason, and White has a lot more leeway of playing a little eccentrically in the opening and getting away with it.
But if you had your choice of moving your king side to the black's way or moving your queen side the way White has, which would you choose? I would choose the black way. It seems to
Yeah,
me
I mean, it's just
more
it's
aggressive
just-
and very safe. And now you open up the position. It makes complete sense to me.
2 other interesting games we have in this round are Rui Yang Yan is playing Alexander Lenderman,
Oh, right.
and,
Cool.
and
Great
Kyron,
opportunity.
Kyron Griffith is playing Eltaj Safarli.
Oh, this is what we're here for, Abel. We've
I
got
might
to look
have
at
been
these
premature
games.
then. Now
And
I
we
don't-
have GM and GM with Gadir Gusainov and Michael Rode.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, we've got to see all of these games. So
Yeah.
this is Roy's game.
Come on,
She's
Judith, move
White.
faster.
She's White against Lenderman.
Yeah, so Rui is white here. Lenderman is black.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love these positions for White. These are the classic kind of Carol Khan-ish. This definitely came out of a Carol Khan. I'm sure of it. And
Yeah, it does look more like a Carol Khan than a French because the bishop's outside the pawn chain.
it's
pawn's
the
not
advanced
outside.
variation of a Carol Khan.
Yes, I think you're right.
But we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's see. Will be exciting game, complicated, interesting. What about our other games?
Look. Let's take a look at Michael Rode's game against Gusainov because I'm
Yeah.
assuming this was theory, but the opening was just out of this world.
Michael Rode is a player that can beat anybody.
Do you guys want to
Okay,
go
yeah.
through the opening or no?
Yeah,
No,
no. Go through the opening.
Scotch game.
Go through the
Yeah,
opening,
Okay.
just because I would like some explanation on it. Because
Sure. It was a Scotch game.
So like this is.
Oh no,
theory?
it wasn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Reed.
It wasn't a Scotch game.
This is a well, no, I don't remember.
This has got to be booked, but I just don't know it. I don't know it.
Kramnik really played these types of positions as black quite well. Now that looks wrong. What happened? Yeah. Something happened that does not look right.
Well, I mean, it's not. Look at this move, knight f5. Michael
Excellent.
Rode. This
Excellent.
is great. All right, queen f6. Keep going.
But it seems like it's got to be known, right? I mean, they're just playing it out.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, that's how he gets to a6. I see.
And this is where
Very-
they are right
very-
Look
now.
at that move. That's a move where you're playing to win, folks.
Yep.
That is a stellar move. It also it shows this Gusanov that he's also playing a grandmaster. A nice move, really nice move. Rook e8 is the idea, obviously, and preventing white from castling. So
I don't know what white does here.
super move by Michael Rode there.
You play queen d2 and then king d1. I'm wondering how you get out of this.
Well, you can always take on f7 first, and that does prevent rook e8 check.
Good point. Good point. I hadn't even thought of that.
And then black could play, maybe just calmly retake or play queen e5 check. And then if after knight e2, maybe take on b2 even. And I don't know. I'm not sure. Or just then take back on f7. Oh, then white's got queen d7 check.
Yeah, I'm seeing some things here that I have to
I should turn my
forward.
computer on. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't have a computer.
Maybe don't throw the queen check in because you don't need to.
You know what's interesting too is Michael Rode is only taken to 20 seconds on his or
Unbelievable. Yeah, so
on
he
the
knows
game.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, does he please play king takes?
so this is
No,
no,
queen-
king takes queen h5 check. So he's got to take it back with the queen, I think.
Right, good point.
Like, I'd be scared out of my mind if this was me, and he's almost got more than 15 minutes on his clock.
Well, I'm scared out of your mind too, Abel.
I'm
Yeah,
This
not,
is a dangerous position. But
Yeah, it seems to be known to black and not
Yeah.
known to white, and that's what's interesting also about it.
white is trying to figure out what his move is, and black
Yeah,
already
I
knows.
think
what
Michael Rode has kind of pulled some old opening theory out of the hat here or something like that. I mean, this night, the whole system with knight e7 and
Well, it seems to me also that c5 at some point is going to be very useful for black because, if you get your rook on the e file, drive the knight away, then rook can penetrate on the e2, and it could get very messy.
okay, so queen f3.
so Danny got
um,
my message that his dad is playing a crazy game, and we are
Yeah.
covering it. So
So,
Danny's on the chat
Nothing
now.
wrong with crazy.
So queen f3, rook e8 check, and then black exchanges on f3,
I
and
don't even see
even
queen
though
F3
white's a
yet.
pawn up.
So Danny's suggesting maybe did Michael play against Polgar 92?
It could be.
Similar
It
game?
could be.
Yeah.
So,
I guess he should know his
I-
games, right?
My guess is white's going to play queen f3, then rook e8 check, and then black takes on f3, and we've got
And then penetrates on e2.
and then either penetrates on e2 or just and then penetrates on e2. So I'll have to look at this Rode Polgar game, and which Polgar was it?
I think it's Judith Polgar. I think it's Judith
Must be
Polgar.
Judith, yeah.
Well,
And so was Judith black or white?
Well, I have one game, and Michael Rode was white, and I'm
No,
looking at it,
Danny
but it
says
wasn't.
it's Susan,
it wasn't.
so-
It wasn't this.
Oh, okay, so we're just talking about Michael Rode to talk about Michael Rode.
No, it was actually Susan. I found it's Rhodes Scholar. It's the chessgames.com. I'll copy paste in the game in the chat.
Yeah,
In
like,
New York,
Yeah.
92 Reshevsky Memorial.
Yes.
queen takes queen, what do you do?
Well, I think Black's toying with the idea of playing C5 instead. C5
Well,
first. So
yeah.
it's one of those two moves. Either Black's going to take on F3 or play C5 or
Yeah.
play C5 now.
That game that we're talking about here, it's not that position, but it's just as wild and crazy.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So Michael Road, yeah. A
It's like 32
blast
moves.
from the past.
Yeah, I would still like queen takes, because if knight take, rook takes rook to e2, if pawn takes, then c5 and rook to e2.
And
Yeah.
Balaji beat Josiah Stearman in their game.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
queen takes. I think that was the preferable.
Yeah, I think
order.
Black is fine here. And White's maintaining his pawn structure. But
Yes,
Oh wow,
but
Stearman blundered the queen. Trapped it, got it trapped. It was just a blunder on like move 13.
oh, yuck.
Yeah, happens. That's life, right, Judith?
All right,
Yes.
we can move on. Shall we move on? Game.
Yeah.
This is an interesting game, but I think it's kind of
yeah,
it's a little bit more academic here,
exactly.
and we could move on to some other games.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Chiron
Go
and
for it.
Altaj.
exactly.
Yeah, Chiron and Eltaj. Chiron, the giant killer.
Yeah, he beat Gadir in the Blitz yesterday, which was
Yeah.
a fine
Yeah.
run that he had.
Well, boy, does Black have an ideal kind of setup here with the white pawn at e5 is, almost a liability. But, if Black takes it safely, finds a way to take it safely, there'll be a pawn ahead. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
White has some strong pressure. These positions are optically good for White. An amateur might think that they were great for White, but often they end up good for Black. The structure favors Black.
Yeah.
Chiron's got some chances here. This is not going to be. This is not a walk in the park
No,
for the Grandmaster at all. I mean, the knight is not secure at F5 because
be
White can play
permanently maintained
G4.
there.
Yeah. So this is Chiron is definitely hanging in there in this game.
And that e5 pawn no longer looks weak to me.
So, shall we look at another game?
Yeah.
Sure, just slow it down
You
here.
want to check Rui against Lenderman?
Yep.
Yeah.
So both of them
Yeah.
have 9 minutes. Rui is playing white against Alexander, who's black.
Okay.
Oh,
And it seems like material even.
yeah. And it
Now
looks
this is
No,
like
what do
looking
you
like a
think?
model French defense for Black.
I was going to say it looks like I'd rather be black, but that might just be me because this is the kind of structure that I would play for as black.
And it says this came out of a Carol Khan.
Yeah.
That's reasonable too. Very often, the difference is the bishop is on f5. And
So Black is at least equal here. If obviously he's achieved a lot of what he wants to achieve.
Yeah, because there's no danger in the center. Pieces have mobility, which in the French, you always are afraid that you won't have enough mobility, won't have enough space. Seems to have an adequate amount of space, so he's got adequate room to maneuver his pieces.
So Roy is just losing. Can't play Rook C1 because of Bishop D3 check. So has to play Rook over to A1 or E1. Looks like she's kind of getting pushed around here.
Yeah.
And take a look at Christopher's game too.
Yeah, I think Roy might be losing a pawn here at B3.
I think so. Yeah, it just looked like an ideal position for black in terms of that kind of pawn structure and that kind of piece activity.
Christopher used black right here against Grandmaster Ovaleski.
Has he sacrificed a pawn?
Yeah, black sack pawn and doing what you were even also mentioning, the lead in development that black had. So black is trying to find some way to exploit that, and has sacrificed a pawn, and now maybe trying to play knight d3. So really you got to hand it to black, just taking it to the grandmaster here. Maybe bishop e6 is a Bobby Fischer-like move here. If
Game of
bishop
the century,
e6, knight d3 check.
Fisher-esque.
Yeah, game of the century. If bishop e6, knight d3 check.
And
And if
then
knight a8, bishop takes c4, and you're all over the light squares.
it's really interesting. I would not have given a second thought to bishop e6, but it's a really interesting idea, Paul. I just hate to ruin my pawn structure like that, but when you're attacking, who cares?
Yeah, and in a funny way, black would actually come out of ahead materially. I think if bishop takes e6, knight d3 check, and then you take back on e6, and you're threatening the pawn at f2 as well. There's a lot of dynamic play.
You're threatening mate on f2,
Yeah.
as well as the rook.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamic play there.
Right.
So I'm just throwing that out there, is that bishop e6 might be a real twist in this position.
Because you can't afford to play knight takes rook because bishop takes bishop, and then you're just happy.
Yeah, that looks dangerous. That looks very dangerous for white. So let's see what black plays and how this. Let's stay here for a minute. Bishop g4 is maybe the same kind of idea,
Yeah, same idea.
but
It doesn't have quite the impact because it doesn't drive or distract the bishop from the d3 square.
yeah, I'm wondering. So I guess if pawn to f3, yeah, I'm not sure what black gains after pawn to f3.
Yeah, because I'd rather have the pawn on f2 if I was going to put the knight on d3 and recapture on with the f pawn, so I have the f file open. The f file is not scary with the pawn on f3. It is scary with the pawn on f2. So I'm still thinking bishop e6 might have been an improvement.
How about you, Judith? What do you think?
You don't want to think. You don't want to know what I think. I don't know nothing. So
Yes, we do.
mine 600 or 800 intuition would be to bishop go back to bishop, right?
But let's say
E2.
white plays pawn to f3 and black decides to sacrifice everything, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happens after pawn to f3. Maybe black will take on c4.
Why not? But
Yeah, there you go. That's probably it. If f3, knight c4. Black didn't want to play knight c4 right away, maybe because after knight a8, there wasn't the possibility of taking back with the queen. This is it's very complicated. But I think black gives himself. Black wants to play knight c4. I think that's the idea here, but doesn't want and wants to give himself the option of taking back on a8 with the queen. It's all I can think of.
Why don't we
And
take a
the-
quick peek at Kyron's game?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, let's just one more thing regarding
Why
this
not
game
to
as
deep
a
think?
really naive observer is that Christopher is down to 5 minutes, right? And yes, the grandmaster's analyzing clearly, but it's only 13th move, right? And they almost used up 10 minutes, right?
Yeah,
So-
well, the watching how strong players allocate their time
It's
is very interesting.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was
sometimes
gonna
it's-
get to.
often it's very foolish, but more often than not, it's very calculated.
Yeah.
So I think it's just another thing to observe, kind of while you're, watching these games is, where do they spend a lot of time and where do they move very quickly, and then ask yourself why.
Yeah, exactly. So just a point to make.
Well, these are complicated positions,
Yes.
and players want to spend a lot of time in a complicated position.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, let's move on.
Chiron and Elta's game. Chiron is down to 3 minutes and 40 seconds, versus Eltar still have 9 minutes left.
Black has made some serious
Black is on the
progress
bottom
here,
now, and
I think.
White is on the top.
Well, the knight and queen are superior to the queen and bishop in general, all things being equal.
Yeah, it
And
looks
it
like
is-
something went wrong here for White,
Yeah.
just because of the dominant black pieces. I mean, we'll have to calculate some variations, but
Yeah, we hate to do that, but
yeah. White did play pawn to g4 at some point, but then this playing pawn to g5 has not really
the pawn on
served.
g4, the knight was able to move to e3 somehow. I don't
I guess.
I can't imagine what happened there.
So let's see. Now Black says, "Okay, check me. I'm gonna
He's gonna play
run
knight.
to. I'm gonna run to g6, and I'll be safe."
I'll be safe and you'll be hurting for certain.
So if rook, but on the other hand, what about queen h5 check? I mean, I'd throw rook c8 check in just to see what happens, because White can play queen h5 check, and if g6, queen h7 mate. So he has to play queen
Yes.
g6, and then the white rook can check back on c7. I'm not sure what Black did there.
You might have to play
Yeah, he had to go back.
rook f8, yeah.
Uh,
So is that what he's happy about?
well, he's gaining a little time. Maybe he didn't
Because
quite have
knight
it.
f2 is a threat now if the rooks come off.
Well, c2, I think, but
Knight c2, sorry. Yeah. And that is
yeah, Black is trying to exchange. Black would like to exchange rooks with a dominant minor
queen and knight
piece.
versus queen and bishop, right?
And also, even if the queens came off, the knight would be
Much more preferred
better.
to the bishop. It's a better minor piece, and knight g4 is threatening to win a pawn. So
Yeah,
yeah.
the knight can dance all over the board in light squares. So White doesn't want to trade into a minor piece ending.
Because the bishop has no targets in Black's position. So you don't want to trade into that minor piece ending.
On the other hand, Chiron is kind of close to equal, could be close to equality. If you can find some way to get in, I would trade rooks and then try to get in with the queen, if that's possible. And I'll bet you that's what Chiron's going to try to do.
Are you thinking like queen f2 check or queen f?
And then you just have to worry about getting mated yourself.
Well, right now, yeah, queen f2 check seems like the right idea.
So if king e8, bishop b4, and then Black could play knight c2 check and knight takes b4.
Right.
But I mean, White would welcome a queen ending, I think, if he can infiltrate with the queen and get it and.
But
and
not
start
if he
checking.
he trades minors and the e pawn falls.
Well, I mean, it could be worth a pawn or two if your queen can get in and cause some havoc. So I'm thinking, White does want a queen ending if possible. Well, okay, so he just decides to hold tough and say to Black, "What are you gonna do?" And Black throws. So Black's gonna win a pawn. Black's gonna win a pawn here with knight a3, and we're gonna get your queen ending. And I think this is actually White's best shot, though. White, this was bound to happen.
I I know what you're saying. I just don't understand it because all the white pawns are just so weak.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose, but I mean, white's hope is to get a perpetual check. I mean,
I don't
what
see
else?
that either.
Yeah, I don't see it yet either, but this is the hope. It's the hope,
Okay.
Jim. It's not.
Keep hope alive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how white was going to get out of the predicament that he was in, and I'm saying that this
That's
is
the best chance.
This is kind of all that he could have hoped for.
Yeah.
I think. And it looks like he's losing.
Yeah.
So I think the position was maybe very close to lost anyway, or at least very, very, very difficult to play for white.
See what now white is threatening to check and trade queens into a 1 king and pawn ending, and white has to dance around with his queen to avoid that any possibility, and that's a reasonable try.
I think the U of Alexi game is the one to follow now.
Okay.
Yeah. This is, by the way, this is still within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, but this thing
can
is
be
Chiron
drawn.
is down
If you can
40
pick up
seconds,
the
right?
queen side pawns to check, you can have drawing possibilities, no question.
Yeah, but Chiron is so down on time, so yeah. So.
Luckily, then he just has his queen to play with. He doesn't have to think about moving other pieces.
Yeah.
Well, I'm rooting for Chiron here. He's in a pickle, but it's possible that he could draw this. And this is kind of what you were aiming for in these positions, is infiltrating with your queen and trying to get a draw. I'm not saying he's got it, but what else has he got? What else could he hope for?
Okay, so let's peek into the U game. Alexander Ovalensky and U game. Are we okay?
I just got an emergency call.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys getting it too?
Yeah,
San Francisco.
yeah.
I don't know.
It
A
must be San
curfew.
Francisco, and I know there's a curfew. They did the curfew. I think you have a curfew from 8 p.m., 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting very serious. So let's pray for some stability and normalcy, because it's really troubling what's happening.
Yes.
So everyone stay home.
Chess is,
play some chess.
we're having our battles on the chessboard
Yes.
That's right.
this evening.
Exactly.
And stay home, play some chess, and let's show the world that playing chess can bring communities together, right?
Absolutely.
Very well
And
said.
friends and everything. So yeah, it's just funny because people are saying do something, and then say,
Paul,
yeah,
what do you
we
think
are
about
organizing tournaments, right?
B2 here.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Bishop to B2.
Yeah, Black's looking for some tactical chances here. I mean, Bishop
No?
F6, I guess he thought he had to play it.
Okay.
Bishop B2 kind of interfered with the rook's action, but now Black needs to worry about the pawn at C6, and he plays Bishop B2 now.
Yeah, I thought it was better than I thought it was better earlier.
It might be
Because now-
better now, actually, while the pawn at C6 is, you're able to attack it. And
Okay, maybe.
it can be very difficult to know what to play here. If Rook B1, Bishop C3,
No, that's what I was looking for.
and if Rook D1, maybe Black can sort of...
Bishop C3 anyway, right?
Yeah, Bishop C3 anyway. It's true.
Maybe.
And but Christopher
Absolutely.
is in time trouble again.
Yeah, but the tactics are Christopher is showing his time trouble addiction here again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
he's
thought
incredibly fast.
Even
Like,
before the rook b2 would force the rook away, so he could play bishop c3 and just tie white down.
What about
And
queen
maybe-
c4 for white here? And if bishop takes rook, queen takes rook. Queen c4. That's a possibility here.
And Guseyanov defeated Michael Rode.
Okay. All right. So that white eventually consolidated in that game. Interesting. Queen c4 is a sharp move here.
I can't tell you what's wrong with queen c4. It looks good.
It's sharp. It might not. It might be a good move. It's just another. It's an idea here. Bishop c1, queen a2, bishop d2, queen d2, and then black can target the c pawn, play queen b6, and win the c pawn. He plays it,
It was the right move.
and I think now black is just going to scoop up the c pawn, and the game will be equal.
Can you scoop it up though?
Yeah, queen b6, and then white cannot hold everything here.
I agree.
And Kyron is continuing to harass Safarli.
This was a very well played game. Before we leave this, and let's look at that game.
Yeah.
This
This is
is
gonna be a
8-second
draw.
here, right?
No, I think Christopher's used play was very impressive.
Okay.
The players are going to agree to a draw.
That was a speculative pawn sacrifice.
And black is even a little better positionally here, but nothing to write home about.
No, and I don't see any winning chances for either side.
Kyron is only down a pawn now in a queen ending.
Let's see that.
Okay,
Let's see that game.
Okay, but this is almost over, right?
This is
Well, yeah, we're not interested in this rook and pawn ending.
yeah. If somebody drops a rook there, I don't care.
Okay, so this is excellent. I can't
now-
believe you got to this position.
Nobody knows who's winning
And
that.
Conrad won too, so
This looks
What?
like
It's
Conrad
just
holds
that
one.
Kyron's only got 14 seconds on his clock.
Now
this looks drawable, and
nobody knows.
I agree.
Nobody knows. Well, or they might know. The table bases know who wins
Yeah.
here.
That's right.
Or draws. But the white king, I think, should be actually aiming away from the black pawn. There's some
would you say
theory.
that?
There's actually some crazy theory about this.
Okay.
That the black king should be far away or something like that. But I'm not sure.
And Christopher, you did draw that game. They did agree
This,
with-
by the way, is I feel vindicated in my.
You're right, Paul.
my
You're right. You
assessment
should
of
feel
this.
vindicated.
Of
because-
how this game went, because this was White's only chance, and look, he's really taken it up here. This is
But I must say that I think black made some serious error here, because he had clearly two pawns at one point and could have just protected that position and then built it up.
well, there's theory and then there's practice, and I'm not,
Isn't there a book, Theory and Practice?
yeah.
Orwitzian.
Looks to me like Kyron really pulling one out of the hat here.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree, and I'm flabbergasted he's gotten to this position.
So who else is? What else is? Top games are going on right
So
now.
two more
Anybody?
games. This one and Christian Clemens against 1600 rated online
Stay
chess.com
here,
rated.
then.
So this is the top board that's still going on.
So let's leave it here. But there's an interesting story about these queen and pawn endings. John Nunn wrote a book about all of these kind of end games and using table bases.
Yeah.
And wrote a series of books just kind of getting down to the, who's winning what and all these simple table-based positions, end games.
Yeah,
But
sure.
when he got to the queen and pawn endings, queen and pawn versus queen endings, he decided not to write the book. And the reason that he didn't write the book was because even though the computer could say who was winning or if it was a draw, there was no way that it could be explained to human beings, and Nunn himself couldn't even figure out the reasons why.
Yeah. It's very true.
So these endings are so complicated, and that the computer can say it's a win or a draw, but we don't have a way to comprehend why that is so in a large part of the time.
The variations branched out so almost not infinitely, but to such an extent that, like, what's the point of trying to write a book with variations like that?
Yeah, but not only that, but he wouldn't be able to explain it to his readers.
I agree.
So this is great. This is a fantastic game by Kyron. You know, he's really shown a lot of fighting spirit here, and White's actually running out of some time himself.
I think White had an easy.
I mean,
draw.
Black is. Yeah.
I think White had an easy draw and missed it. He could have played Queen C6, check, forced the Queen exchange, and then his King would have been in front of the pawn, and there's no way for the King and pawn to be won.
So Kyron looks like he's comfortably drawing this.
This is like some scary.
Why do that? I don't understand that. Why not just keep checking the King?
Actually, there was no check. Queen E6 is met by Queen E6, so Black actually found a way
to hide. Okay.
Wow.
Oh!
There's no checks. There's nothing.
Look at that.
That
Kyron
is awesome.
has resigned. Nice position. Nice final position. And by the way, I think this is...
As I said, White was winning the entire time.
Yeah, but you know what? White played the wrong strategy by moving the King towards the pawn. Remember I mentioned that the King is supposed to be all the way away on the other side of the board. So
which also seems counterintuitive. So a human being wouldn't think like that.
Right, but I think the correct technique to try to draw this is to keep the King all the way on the other side of the board. So there we go.
From what I saw, is that Kyron advanced his other pawns to the point where it started harassing and was almost threatening some kind of mate. And then they had to divert to the other side. Well fought by Kyron. And
yeah, what a great, interesting endgame. And it makes me want to look it up afterwards.
But I feel vindicated, Paul, because I predicted that Black would win.
You are vindicated, Jim. We could move on now.
No, the vindication I'm looking for is that my assessment was correct.
I think your assessment was correct.
I think it's entirely possible for both of you to be correct.
And that there's some truth to that too. I think there is a point to be made on all sides here.
So Danny Rode is saying that Rode disconnected in the endgame because when you looked at the endgame at the point of where he lost, I mean, it was even material. It was just knight versus bishop.
Yeah,
and I think that's what happened.
And Michael also emailed me saying it disconnected for a while, but he didn't think it would throw him off from the game because he came back and apparently for 1 minute and 38 seconds. So yeah, it sucks, but he withdrew.
Everyone, I have a FIDE trainer exam to take.
Okay.
Probably take an hour. So if you guys are still on, I figure you should be. I'll jump back on later.
Yeah. Okay. I must take a quick break myself.
Good luck, Abel.
Yes,
good luck, Abel.
Michael, good luck. Good luck.
Wish me luck.
Just know that you can do it. Be confident and go in there and kick butt.
Just do what I do. Huh?
Yep.
All right. Hopefully. Now, the one thing I can't do is...
What?
Trying to log out of the...
Jim disappeared too. You didn't?
Did I?
No.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay.
Anyway, so Michael asked me, and not just the two of us, Michael asked me to tell everyone that he did disconnect for a while, for a little bit, but he still had time and he tried to fix it, but the system kicked him out. So it was really unfortunate, and that wasn't his intention to withdraw from the game. So that's life, right, Paul?
Yeah, online chess is harsh.
Online chess is the harshest, so
It can be really harsh for those mouse slips
yeah,
and yeah.
yeah.
So this is Conrad Holt versus Gusinov.
Yeah, so let me fix because
Yeah.
I wanted to see if Jim is coming back or not, but
I think he said he is. He's
he
taking a
is.
break.
Okay, sounds good. I didn't hear that. Maybe
Yeah.
I was reading. So yeah, so we have
King's Indian.
that's your job to tell us once. We have Gadir with black on the top of the screen, and then Conrad Holtz with white. So this is the fourth round, so we are over the half of the tournament, and we see a Grandmaster versus Grandmaster game here.
Fantastic.
And Conrad lives in South Bay, in the San Francisco South Bay, and Gadir lives, I think, in Baku, but certainly in Azerbaijan. And so this is an interesting setup.
And he was second in the tournament last night.
I'll look it up. So
I can't remember, but
yeah, but he
was a
was
long
pretty
time
on
ago.
top. Give me one more second, and now I'm pulling it
oh,
up.
it's fine.
But,
I forget.
He
I
was
remember
fifth.
the winner.
He was fifth, but
Oh, he was fifth, okay.
he tied for third, right? He tied. No, actually, no, he was a clear fifth with 8.5.
Okay.
So.
All right, he was the only player with 8.5.
Yeah, so we had Altaj won 10.5, Alexander was 9.5 with clear second, and then we had a tie for third with Andrew Tang and Christopher Yu.
Okay.
And then fifth place is Gadir. So it's an interesting match.
We have a typical dynamic King's Indian defense here. And I think White might even be thinking about castling queenside in this position.
Yeah, he certainly has the space, right?
Yeah, it's it's
wow,
it's
you called it.
It's one of those gutsy looking games here for both players. And White is maybe thinking about a kingside attack, maybe redeploying the knight at h4 to g2 and then f4, e3. Typical King's Indian. If you like to live life by the edge of your seat of your pants, this is the opening for you. Now knight b5 and knight d4 is possible. So all these, this is a very sharp game here.
Nice.
So is this our top board?
I think so. Let me double check.
And who's leading the tournaments?
So this is the top board, and we have I think 7-way tie to the first with 3 out of 3 with most of the grandmasters. So we have space now because just the two of us. I can.
Yeah, let's pull out the.
I can
let's
scoop us over a little bit, and then I'll pull up the standings. The interesting thing about Conrad, I don't know, a lot of players know, but he's late from his games usually. So it's always I always have to make sure he's coming, he's arriving. He's one of those players who likes to play a little bit of tactics, I think, with the opponent, of whether coming or not.
Yeah.
So it's always funny.
Oh, when he shows up, he plays beautiful chess.
Oh yeah, and he always very, very fast. He's always very dominant. So it's
here comes the knight b5, knight d4 idea, and putting pressure on e6 and f5.
Nice.
Interesting.
And I'm gonna lower the tournament chat so that a little bit more player can be shown, and there you go.
So Black has a little bit of a conundrum here. How is the f5 pawn going to be defended? Oh, here's the standings.
Here's the standings. I'm gonna a little bit enlargen it so that people can view it a little bit better.
Is Tarantes
Tarjan? Yeah,
Okay.
he is Tarantes is Tarjan.
Oh, great. We'll have to look at his game.
So chess to the sun is Balaji, FIDE Master
Okay.
Balaji, just so people know. Then we
Alexander
have
Lenderman.
Alexander Renderman, Gadir, Altaj, Conrad with D Rech is Conrad, Tirantes is James Tarjan, and then Titan Chess, he's an up and rising player, Austin May. So he's around 2100, I think. But I can actually.
You know what's interesting is we were looking at these ratings that we're seeing are rapid ratings.
These are chess.com
Right.
rapid ratings, yeah.
And because yesterday we looked at Safarli's blitz rating was
like
over
3,000,
3,000.
yeah.
And is a huge plummet down to 2405 where he is in rapid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see the rapid ratings as compared to the blitz ratings.
And you know what? You know why that is, Paul?
Why?
I think I think that the stronger the player, they don't really like to play longer games just casually because of the cheating. So they play in tournaments where
less
they
rapid,
probably but they don't play that many rapid games just casually, and it's just they don't have an established rating. Versus Blitz, they play very fast games, and so yeah. So Austin is a 2100, 2149 over the board. So hi Jim, I'm gonna fix.
Hi Jim, welcome back.
Thank you.
So yeah, Holt is putting some pressure on Gusanov here, and
I'm assuming Holt is white.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to look at Tarjan's game for sure.
Always interested in Tarzan's game.
Yeah, we must have some really strong top three boards here. So Black is toying with the knight b3 check idea, of course.
So I'm moving to Tarjan's game, okay?
Yeah.
Sounds good. So
you have our permission.
Jim Tarjan, Grandmaster Tarjan, is with white here. He's a local player playing against a Russian Grandmaster who just joined the club and expressed interest to play, Alexander Ovaletsky. He was introduced me by Faik Aleskarov, so thank you, Faik, for the introduction, and we are very happy to have him in this tournament.
Well, he had a couple of rocky moments, but this is a high quality, sharp position here.
Yeah, I'm trying to calculate it, Paul, and I'm not.
Every piece is on the board. Every piece is still on the board, so who knows?
Okay.
Black could play pawn takes d3 and then use the e4 square, maybe knight e4, bishop e4, or something like that. But I mean, it's just they're going to move around and see what's what, and it's still up in the air.
White doesn't have any weaknesses on the king side, so the king is safe.
Well, nobody has any,
Yeah. So
if Black plays pawn takes d3 and White plays queen takes d3, we have a completely symmetrical pawn situation.
Exactly. So I was going to say there is no advantage pawn structurally. I can't say anything that I can say with conviction, because it seems to me that both can have passed pawns on the queen side. And
both players have passed pawns on the queen side?
They could with exchanges on c4. But I don't know who would want that, white or black.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's look at another game on the top, one of the other top boards.
Yeah,
how about Safarli?
It's just too complicated for me to figure out in a couple of minutes here.
Who's Safarli playing? So I don't think there's anything clear cut here at all.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so Safarli is playing Balaji. Balaji is a local player, FIDE Master Balaji 2400, and Altaj is of course from Baku, Azerbaijan, and
who else was from there, Judith, that we would know?
From Baku, Azerbaijan.
Kasparov.
Well,
no. I was testing Judith. You didn't
No.
have to jump in.
I thought you were talking about people we knew personally.
Oh, no.
Shak lives in Azerbaijan, right?
Who does?
Shak Mamadyarov.
I would take your word for it.
And Rauf is from there too, but Rauf currently lives in Ukraine with his wife. And originally Faik was born in Azerbaijan, so they all grew up together. So it's a
Well,
fun.
and that, there's just a lot of chess talent there. And the
Yes.
obvious one is Kasparov, but he's not the only one.
Yeah.
So is Black thinking about taking up Bishop H3 here?
Holy smokes. How do you follow it up? It seems like the king side is pretty well defended. Oh, I see what you're saying, Paul. Of course.
If D takes E5, Queen G6, there's a lot to calculate, but it's possible to even just play Knight takes E5, Knight E5, Queen E5, and if GH3, Queen H2 check. So, yeah, maybe this first. It looked to me like it was possible to maybe take on H3.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
At first, I was poo-pooing that idea, but I saw what you saw later. And now it's probably not something you would do. I don't think. Boy, you'd kind of want your bishop, your white bishop on B2 placed someplace else now. Yeah, that's a good move because now you're reinvesting in that threat on H3. That's a strong move. Now, who's Black here?
Black is Balaji, so he's the FIDE master.
Well, good for him because
local.
this is a very dangerous position for White. He's letting him take the pawn on B7. He's saying, please take it, please take it.
Well, maybe White will just play Knight takes E5 here. And if Queen E5, Knight F3.
That would be safe, wouldn't it?
Bishop E5, though, leaves a lot of pieces pointing towards the king's side.
Yeah.
Then maybe
it's
Knight
scary.
F3. Then
It's
maybe
scary.
Knight F3. I know. Yeah, White seems to have gotten not much out of this opening, that's for sure. I mean, he's probably worse here. A little worse is my evaluation. Black, there's the split pawns on the queen side, and I don't know.
Well,
Some
because of
chances for Black here.
the threat you pointed out, Paul, bishop takes H3, he couldn't play C pawn takes D4 and maintain that pawn structure in the center. And so
Yeah,
now,
it's like White realizes so White's bringing pieces back to the
right, saying it's getting scary over here. But
Black has some chances here.
can't
So
you play
can he?
knight takes and then bishop takes H3?
Yeah, that's a good point. Knight F3, and bishop takes H3. What happens?
Now, the good thing about bishop C1 is it covers the F4 square, so the knight can't jump into the game quickly, which I was very worried about earlier.
I think White will have if knight F3, bishop H3. I think White has pawn to E5, and then if bishop E5, knight E5, and then if rook E5. You can take
you're
on
right.
H3. You can take
I think
on
E5
H3,
might refute that.
I guess.
Yeah, we're both guessing, but I think you're right.
And then if rook D5, in fact, then rook D5, rook E8 mate. So White could actually mate Black in that position.
Yeah, you might have to be more cautious than that.
All right.
Can you just play a simple move like C6?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think Black has got a nice game here and doesn't want to blow it, but needs to, and moves like Knight F4 look attractive, and so the sometimes the issue becomes you've got such a nice game, you want to.
You did play knight f4.
Yeah, I mean, black, if he can clear out that knight on f3 and infiltrate there. The pawn at a4 is, white. Okay, so white's going into complete defense mode, but yeah, black maybe didn't get anything out of this.
Huh.
Now we have that if bishop h3, knight e5. Well, that's actually possible, I think. Bishop h3, knight e5, rook e5.
Yeah, it's possible. It may be too.
But then bishop f7 check. I don't know. Okay, c6.
Yeah, c6 seems like a prudent move. Just take away that danger on the queen side. And then you can go about your business.
I think black ends up just slightly better here, again, but just structurally. But he hasn't been very ambitious. There might have been a way for black. Obviously, black thought a long time and couldn't.
I like all
anything,
endings for black.
Couldn't figure anything out. And black's a little better here, but.
Yeah, I like all endings for black. It doesn't matter to me what pieces you keep on the board, except for queens, because all the threats of perpetual check. But white has weak pawns on the queen side, and I just prefer all endings. If you play queen c4 here, yeah, go ahead and play queen c4. Maybe not now, maybe not, because I don't know.
Listening to you.
Yeah. Might have to play rook takes, rook takes. Oh, that's interesting. I had not considered that.
Black's a little tiny, microscopically better.
I think that move, I was just thinking of that move too. I think that's a good move. Yeah, I think that's a proper assessment. You've got black in a better position, but can he win this? It's very unclear. That is also interesting because he is threatening d4.
Do you remember right that Altosh had tough games in the previous rounds too? Did he play Chiron?
Yes.
So
Yep,
it's not
tough
his
game.
first game.
So pawn d4, and black's going to end up maybe a pawn ahead at the end of this.
Yeah, d4 was definitely called for.
I'm not sure that there was a way out, but queen e4, look at that. You know, the tactics here, folks. Tactics in the end game. Black doesn't want to lose that pawn at d4. But it looks like he might be losing it.
I just don't know. Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
He's going to pick up the pawn at a5 and then maybe lose the pawn at b7. So there's all kinds of various ramifications of all
This
this.
gets too complicated for me to figure out.
You know, it's
because you could play.
I mean, it looks to me like, you know, there's going to be some kind of exchanges going on. Black will end up with past a pawn. Queen c7, huh? I don't think this was now black. Okay, so black is. Okay, now if queen b7.
Queen e1.
And king h2 and queen f2, yeah. I mean, that's one
very
of probably
complicated.
lots of different scenarios here.
Yeah, it's very complicated still, and I don't know what.
Also, there's queen a1 and rook d4, so.
Yeah.
All queen, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
It looks
here.
like they all end up in drawish type of endings, because I don't think a rook and all those kingside pawns would be sufficient to win.
I'm going to take a 3-minute break, and I'll be right back, folks.
All right, Paul. I owe you one, so go ahead.
Sounds good. Okay, so it's Jim and I.
I should have saved my question about Baku. Who is from Baku?
Yeah, well, that's like we can chit chat and then.
Well, I think
gonna-
now the danger is those center pawns are scary, and the black queenside pawns are not very far advanced, so they're not as scary.
Yeah.
Most of my chess career has been defined by fear.
And I know no fear, so that's why I'm 600 or 800, right? I just play.
Yeah. Well, you can still have fun. That's the important part.
Yeah, that's the most important.
You can
part.
never underestimate fun.
So Alexander Landeman finished off with Austin. So Alexander is 4 out of 4. And then we have the rest of the GM still playing. And we have Kyron won his 4th round game, so he's 3 out of 4, as well as Michael Walder and Elliot Winslow. They are all 3 out of 4, so that's very good.
There's no 3.5s? Or not yet?
Not yet, because the 2.5s are still playing.
Correct, right.
Christopher Yu and Alexander Ovanovsky. So,
But you got 2 rounds, and if you're a half point out,
yeah,
that's not bad.
That's doable.
You're still in the running.
Yeah, so it's good. Let's look at another game.
Okay.
I would say peek into Conrad and Gadir's game. 2 GMs. I think we looked at this game very early on, right? And it was a crazy, if I remember, crazy Indians game.
Oh, yeah. I liked white earlier. I'm not sure now. Let me recalculate. I just don't know. Count the pawns for me, Judith.
The pawns are 2 for Conrad and 3 for Gadir. So Gadir's up a pawn. Quickly counting. I'm not 100% sure.
Can he play knight g6 here? Knight g6 check? It looks like he can to me. Because you can't take with the pawn.
exactly.
The pawn is pinned. Can't take it with the queen because then the queen would capture the queen on g6.
Yeah.
Pawn is once again pinned. So
Yeah.
knight g6
It's a very
is
good
definitely
move.
a possibility, but is it
And
any
he played
good?
it. And he played it. And then king g8.
G8.
But he's
Yeah.
down on time. Conrad is down on time. And
See, I don't know if this is enough.
and I think
Now the pawn is not pinned and it can capture the knight.
yeah.
And can you just check again? Is that any good? Oh, he played that. Very nicely done.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I think I forgot to shut my mic off, so if there was any strange noises,
That's all right.
I apologize.
It's
We're
good.
grown-ups here. We've heard strange noises.
In fact, we probably heard from public officials too when they forgot to turn off their microphones, right? So
Yes.
it's funny.
Wow, Conrad Holt is down to 6 seconds,
Yeah,
huh?
so it's gonna
Oh
be
my
a
goodness.
really interesting end game.
Well, this is not an end game.
No, but it doesn't seem like he has efficient attacking material to me.
Yeah, it looks like let's see, Rook H1 and then knight E7 check is the threat. So let's see what Gusanov is going to do about that.
What do you think Black is going to? Oh,
I think White's going to try the knight E7 check is maybe the idea now. If White can get that in, but Black is probably prepared to sack his queen if necessary. Here it comes. But I don't see what White is getting here. King F8, King F7, Knight F5 check, or G5. Yeah. Holt is an amazingly resilient blitz player here.
I gotta give him
Looks
some
like
credit.
he's losing, but look at this. The threat
This
is
is really interesting. This is a really interesting move.
why didn't Holt take on F6? I guess
this
King
is a-
F7, Rook H7. I see why.
Yeah.
He would have gone that way.
Oh, he's trying to mate net. He's trying to mating net.
Both players are trying to set up mating nets with knights and rooks. This is quite a game going
It's
on.
quite a game.
here.
I still can't quite calculate what's going on here.
I think Black would be close to winning maybe if he could get this position under control. But
See, I think white is scary, more scary to me. Okay.
Grandmaster draw coming up here.
Because I wouldn't go to H8.
H8 is probably losing a Rook F7.
So then he's got to be trying to play for a draw. For a
King
perpetual.
G8. Now, yeah, it's gonna be a draw, maybe, Judith. Which would be-
I'm actually handling
Hey, Paul, what about
little bit
this?
of
If he
one,
plays
but-
King G8, instead of checking on E7, check on H6.
Right.
But then,
King G7.
oh no, it doesn't work because he can play, if Rook F7 check, then King G6, not to H8.
Yeah, in some variations, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, poof goes my idea.
I think Rook G2 was a smart move by Gusenev because there was some real danger
There was serious danger.
with White playing pawn to G6 in some positions, and
Yeah, I think the best that Black can do now is allow the perpetual.
And Jim Tarjan just drew the game, so Jim is
fantastic.
3.5 out of 4.
Yeah.
And
is there any full 4-pointers?
Alexander
Yes.
Landerman, yes.
Lenderman.
And then the other Alexander is 3 out of 4. So
Right. Okay. And there's still
Christopher-
some game outstanding, right?
yes, of course, there are like at least 3 out of 3. Four players with 3 out of 3 are still playing. Christopher and Milind, they drew their games, so both of them are 4 out of. No, Christopher is 3 out of 4. I don't know Milind.
And so is Kyron, huh?
And so is Kyron. Yeah, exactly. So you guys see it, right?
Yeah.
we got
look-
2 more
yeah,
rounds,
yeah.
so anything can happen.
Yeah,
Any
it's-
one win can vault you into the top.
Yeah.
But somebody has to take out Letterman, and he's playing so well. I
Yeah.
don't know.
This was a very good game here.
Yes, it was very, very heart thumping, and I was confused.
I'm trying to find a way for White to try to win, but after King G7, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
I can't see it myself. Because the rook on f6 to h6 lines don't seem to work.
And Black is kind of running himself out of time. Maybe trying to figure out if he can play King H8. King H8 just loses to Rook
It
F7,
loses.
so
Yeah, it loses.
unless he can play H5, but then G6, and the threat is Rook H7 check, mate. And Black would have to give up a rook, and if
Well,
I
he's in
don't-
check now, so he can't do anything but move his king.
yeah.
He's got 2 squares, right?
All right,
That's
so this is going to end in a draw.
the repeat position, right? Because he's not going to go to h8.
He's, if he goes King H8, Rook F7, H5, that's the only thing that I can
Rook takes
imagine.
h5.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Rook H5. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So, any other top boards still going on here?
Yes, absolutely. So you guys think
Farley.
this will be a draw, even though Conrad is down? Oh yeah, it is a draw. Sorry.
Yeah, they agreed to a draw.
Yeah,
What about
I didn't-
Safarli's
I
game?
didn't see it.
That's okay.
Yeah,
What
thank
about
you.
Safarli's
So
game?
Safarli is white here
Yeah, let's
against
see this game.
Balaji, who's black. Safarli has a lot of time, 3 minutes.
Now this
Oh
should
my
be a
goodness.
draw.
Yeah,
It's a technical draw.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's even a draw if white wins the G pawn, apparently.
Well,
So-
yeah, the F and H pawn are not good in these endings. If you
But black's got the G pawn, so this is just going to be a draw.
yeah, I agree. How much time do we have? Is that a factor? I doubt it.
So white has 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So
white's going to try, that's for sure. He's going to try H5 here or something like that, and then it's going to
That-
be
that's
the
hopeful.
then we're
That's-
going to get to the Lucina, not Lucina position. We're going to get to the third line defense for black. That's my guess here.
Okay, tell me what the Lucina position is, Paul.
No, it's not the Lucina position. We'll get the third line defense for black.
And tell me what that means.
Well, that's when the white pawn advances. Black keeps his rook on the third rank, and white advances his lone pawn to the sixth rank, trying to provide some cover for the king. And then as soon as he plays the pawn to the sixth rank, the black rook goes to the eighth rank
Eighth rank to check
And-
from behind.
and then checks him from behind.
Because the pawn can cover from the side checks, but can't cover from the rear checks.
So that's probably how this will end up, with white exchanging one pawn. And now white's made it even tough to do that, I think, with the
Wow.
configuration of pieces here.
Yeah, he's got to get back to E5 if he wants to control that rank. So now he can play Rook E6 and then Rook E5.
Yeah, this is just a little bit of messing around here.
I think so. I think because white has such a time advantage, he feels
Here
like
we go.
yeah.
All
here
right,
we go.
folks.
Here we
Black takes and plays rook b6 and then just sits. Rook b6. Well, you can play this way too. All right. He's given white the sixth rank, which is kind of silly, but he didn't
I
have
agree.
to do that.
I agree. Why would you do that? Just take, like you said, the third rank defense is a known draw. It's a book draw. And by book draw, I mean that has been shown to us in books that the position can be held no matter what white does. And so you always want to play for a position that's a known win or a known draw.
Okay, here we go.
Now you drop back, right?
Well,
Well, now it's not
it
clear.
got a little bit funny here.
It got a little bit funny.
There we go. This is one way that white can try to win, but it doesn't. It's still insufficient.
I would always drop back.
Now white can't play king f7, unfortunately for him.
Very interesting.
Or I would have checked them.
This is the last game in the.
I think that that black has blown this. And now
This
we
is-
have the Lucina position, if I'm not mistaken. And incredible. I think if f7, king g6, rook e6 check, maybe it's not that. Yeah.
No, rook takes.
Oh, he can't play rook e6 check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is just
Okay.
easy win. Unbelievable.
Wow. Balaji.
Yeah, Balaji.
Balaji.
These rook endings are so
Yeah.
it's so
One mistake.
precise, and Black should have drawn that easily. It's just a tragedy, but it happens.
But this wasn't
lack
Altaj's
of book knowledge.
first.
It wasn't that easy. I think he probably has the book knowledge. It just sometimes the positions are just so they look different, and you get confused by the geometry of the board.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And also, like, I mean, this was Altaj's how many game that he actually had to play out till the end. So it's like game after game without a break. So Altaj must be quite tired by now. And
Well-
so, because I think Altaj played another long game with Kyron, right?
Right.
Or was it Theo? I can't remember. I have to look it up.
Well, that was a long game too.
Yeah,
you know,
so
but-
I'm saying that he must be quite tired by now.
We have
and
some
that's
great-
another thing about computers. They don't get tired.
So Farley is and Lenderman both have perfect scores. Is that correct?
Yeah, let's go to the standings so everyone can see the
Yeah.
standing. Hopefully,
They have to play each other then, don't they?
They're playing each other
so
right now.
They are playing each other right now. So they are the two perfect scores. And then we have a three-way tie for third place with Gadir, Conrad, and Jim Tarjan up there. Congratulations,
Seems
Jim.
to me that Black has misplayed this.
Well, let's see. Can he play queen? If he plays queen d6, bishop f4, and then he can give up the queen for two pieces.
Yeah. He could play queen.
Yeah. What did Black? What? I'm not sure. Queen c8, then knight a7, queen
He
d7.
could play queen c8 and knight a7. That's a little.
Then
nasty.
queen d7. So it's actually possible. Looks like to play.
Because you're trying to trap the knight, aren't you? Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
So
And he
he's doing
does
that.
it.
That's what he's doing.
All right. So if knight a7,
What happened? Yeah.
this has been hilarious. I mean, this last move by Black is played with a straight face, but it's the only move to avoid losing material. And now Black just wants to catch up in development here. It's a strange way of playing the opening, and I don't trust it one bit. This French defense thing here. White wants to play d5, maybe. Black's struggling to catch up. What? Yeah,
Well, can you play knight d5 here?
bishop d5. You
And
can't recapture
why not?
because the rook is at e1 pinning the e pawn.
Oh, the rook is on e1. Sorry.
Yeah. So if Black castles, he might be coming under
Daily.
strong attack here after bishop g5, bishop f6, queen out, and then queen h4. Black doesn't want to do that.
No. What? Well, I don't know.
This is Conrad Lenderman getting kind of busted out of the opening is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Bishop f6, queen g4, and queen h4.
Tell me who Black is again.
Black is Alexander Lenderman from New York
No.
City, playing
Yes, I know
against.
him. And he's a very good player. So
He's amazing.
I think
Still suspect.
he's just kind of getting. Yeah, this is very strong.
Yeah.
I mean, something is going to be coming up to the fourth rank in a minute, like a bishop or a rook.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe Black can hold on for a while by he's going to have to give up something to survive this. King g7 looks just too dangerous.
But it looks like it's forced to me.
Well, then rook e4. I mean, if bishop c6, rook g4 check wins,
But f5.
then queen g5 check. King h8, queen f6 check, king g8. You're on the brink of disaster here. Rook
Clearly
h4.
are.
Yeah.
So maybe it's probably the same problem, but what about f5 now?
Yeah.
I know it's
just-
funny,
This
but
position is just, it looks so wrong for black.
yeah, I never would have castled like that. I never would have allowed him to. I would have kept my king in the
Well-
center. With that pawn structure, I would have won my king on e8.
Yeah, but then you're going to get opened up like a can of tomatoes. Is that an expression in Hungary, Judith?
Yes.
Get
Sort of
opened up
something
like a
that.
can of tomatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, f5 was played. Obviously, white is not going to take a draw by perpetual check.
White's
here.
not going to take this lying down.
What is he doing then?
He's not going to do
Maybe
it.
he is going to take a draw by perpetual check. How silly.
Now he's thinking. He just wanted to get some time off.
Yeah, maybe pawn d5. I don't know. White's good. White has
C5, I played bishop takes knight.
White has an obligation to try to play for a win here.
Absolutely. But pawn d5,
How about
Bishop
pawn
takes knight.
h4 and to play pawn h5, h6? If bishop c6, rook b8, h5, black is in time to play queen d8.
What about if you play something like h4? I take your knight, you take back, I play queen d8.
Yeah, that's a very good move, Jim. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, I think h4 is a little slow. But it's just a shame. To me, it's like a crime against chess if black can get away with this.
I agree.
You never know.
I know what you're saying.
Also, these are the two leaders of the tournament. Maybe they know that. Maybe they'll be sort of like, okay, let's play for a draw, and
Yeah, I don't think you want. I was thinking knight e7 check, but I don't think
I was
you
just,
want.
I hate to say it, but I was just thinking of pawn to g4,
And so what he can consider taking back or just leave it and
Well, I'd
Well,
still consider bishop takes
This
knight.
opens up the way for the e4 square, for white to play a piece to the e4 square, and I think that's the idea here. It also opens up the g file. White can play g takes f5, and then
And that's
move
murder.
bishop-
So I still play bishop takes knight and queen d8, but he played queen e8, which I'm not a big fan of.
Well, g takes f5.
He's just making time, marking time. He's not going to repeat the position.
So if g takes f5, bishop c6, white has to figure out a way to get to the rook over to the g file, and it's all over.
Yeah, but that's
I'm not
easier
sure
to say.
that. So maybe g takes f5, bishop c6, pawn to d5. I don't know. I just feel like white has a way in here and needs to sort of figure out how to do it.
I'm still thinking about taking the knight and playing queen d8. So I can play rook e8 and bishop f8.
Well, he
But-
played queen e8, and so
I know. But even in this position, it's still like, even if you play, I'd let you play d5 and then take my bishop on c6 if that lets me escape.
The other thing is grandmasters are very optimistic. Maybe black is thinking about how he can win the game here with queen e8. You never know.
Well, I definitely think it was more aggressive than what I was suggesting. And I don't know that it was, but I see what you're saying. It's definitely something. I'm sorry, I just dropped something which I can't find. But I think what you were saying makes sense to me, that he's thinking about, okay, if he tries too hard to attack me, maybe I'll just win a piece and hold on and escape and come down out a piece ahead.
I guarantee that Lenderman is never going to go in this again. This is just a nightmare for Black. You know.
Well, you know, you're also the idea here too is that all your moves are forced, so you don't have trouble finding. You don't have that many options. So that's not true for White. White has options. So White has to think, and there he does. He goes for D5. So I'd take Bishop takes Knight.
Yeah, and then maybe White. Yeah, okay. So yeah, all right. So
Now I can get out, right? Queen E7 even. Or Queen
yeah,
E8.
and White's playing with the idea of a small advantage in the end game.
And he does have an advantage. No question about it. But is it sufficient to win?
Well defended by Black.
Yes.
Maybe
he-
there
he
wasn't
got
a
out, right?
way in. Maybe
He
there
looked across
was.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a way, but Black is now. You know, Black is.
Oh, now he's got a threat too. Go ahead, take my F pawn. Go ahead.
Yeah, why? Maybe White should have played Bishop D5 and then pawn to C4. I mean, Black's bishop is never going to find a completely secure spot, and White's so. This is now a little bit of so rook E2, rook D6. Black's problems are going away here. Amazing, absolutely amazing. All right,
Yeah.
do we have another game? What's board 2 look like?
Mhm.
I also want to see Tarjan's game.
Yeah. So Tarjan and Conrad are playing.
Yeah, what a great matchup that is.
So and Christopher did win his game against Michael Walder.
Okay, so
Christopher is
you-
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
that was quick.
Yeah,
He's still
that
in
was
it
quick.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, so this looks to me like I like Black for some reason.
Yeah, Black is expanding. Black has a lot of breathing space here. Complicated,
that's-
though.
I think that's the thing that was attractive to me is that, you know, Black has adequate space to maneuver his pieces, and, you know, what is White
Tarjan-
going to do?
Tarjan is no slouch. I mean,
I agree.
this is former U.S. Did Tarjan ever win the U.S. championship?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, not to my knowledge either. But he played on the Olympic team. He was a gold medalist on the Olympic team and U.S. Olympic team. And
And when I was studying chess and starting to get a little bit good, his games was so impressive to me. He was just one of those guys that you looked up to, and then he stopped playing.
he was the world's 100th grandmaster.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Which I'm fond of. I'm
Yeah,
fond
you're-
of remembering that.
Yeah, you mention that often. And ever
Yeah.
since, like, there are so many grandmasters, so that's a big deal that
It was back in 1974, I think. It was a
Yeah.
huge achievement to become
Yes.
a grandmaster. I mean,
Yes,
yeah.
because now I won't say they're a dime a dozen, but
oh,
this
they're
one-
not a dime a dozen.
No, but I can't remember their names.
There's over 1,000 now, right? Or
Yeah.
over 3,000, maybe.
I don't know what the number is, but it's too many for me to know. And back in Tarjan's day, I knew all the grandmasters.
Huh.
Of course, that was before the Soviet Union broke up, and so many players that weren't grandmasters in Russia came out and became grandmasters in the West.
Yeah.
So that was part of what, you know, people. Some people, I know Saruman has called it grandmaster inflation, but you know,
I'm
I
not
don't-
so sure about that.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. But there is this sense of people like Yasser who won the grandmaster title when it meant more than it does today. Some of them feel that way,
Mhm.
and I can understand it.
Yeah.
but it's like anything else. It meant when I first started playing chess, being a master was important. That was an achievement.
I think being a master is still important, Jim.
Do you guys want some data? So there's currently 1900 grandmaster, 1918
That's not that many.
grandmasters.
I mean, consider all the people playing chess. I think the grandmaster title is still an amazingly difficult achievement.
According to
is.
Wikipedia.
No question.
Yeah,
And-
It's just that in the old days, you knew who they were.
well, yeah.
And then he got his grandmaster, Tarzan got his grandmaster title in 74, yes. So he was 22 years old. So
Yeah,
So
at 22.
in 74, there was 100 grandmasters.
Yeah, he was the world's 100th grandmaster.
yeah.
So now we have 1900.
Yeah.
So that's an incredible difference.
Yeah, it is, but there's a lot more competition now.
Totally,
Yeah.
I agree. That's why I always say, when people say Fischer was the best in the world, I reply, I think Kasparov was, because his competition was much more fierce. Not that Fischer's was easy, not by any means was it easy, but there are just more great players now than there were then.
Yeah. And he actually graduated from
Tarzan
UC Berlin.
is better here. I think Black is slightly better, maybe, although there's the C5 and E5 squares. This knight is coming to D3. But, Black still has some maybe attacking chances on the king side. No, it's anybody's game here still.
And he's a UC Berkeley graduate, Tarzan. So
Yeah, yeah.
Abel
Go
will be-
Bears!
Abel will be proud. Go Bears, exactly. So let's see who else we have. Gadir and Alexander Ovalevsky as two USSR players.
Yeah.
But
Let's
Paul,
see that game.
quickly tell me, is that C6 pawn going to make Tarzan weep?
Maybe.
Yeah. It looks weak now.
So that's okay.
Okay, who do we have here?
So here we have white Alexander Ovalevsky with black is Gadir. Gadir almost has twice as much of time as Alexander has. So let's see how they're doing.
These are the
Alexanders. I'm just teasing.
these are
I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So
Well,
we're
this
stuck in
game
this
looks
position.
this game looks perfectly fine for Black. I mean,
Yeah, but you're not unhappy as white, are you?
yeah, it depends on what kind of game you like to play.
Yeah, I would play Bishop C1. Absolutely, I would play that. Redirect the bishop into the game. You don't seem to have a weakness on D4. Knight to E4 is speculative. So I just don't know.
And there's a possibility White can try Queen A6 too at some point. So,
Yeah.
I mean, White's a little better, I think. A little more freedom
Yep.
position. But
I do like games in tournaments where I'm not sure what's going on. I can look at the position for over a minute and not know who's winning. These are fun tournaments for me.
Black has a lot more time on the clock.
It could be a factor. Although 4 minutes, these guys can play 5-minute games with
Oh,
Quite
sure.
high
Sure.
degree of accuracy.
Yeah. So the Lenderman game, I'm assuming, is still going on. But
Yeah, I'll have to wait for Judith to.
we'll have to wait till
I
Judith.
am back with my water.
All right, that wasn't too long.
No,
We're just
I
wondering-
really just needed water because it's hot
Is
here.
Christopher Yu still playing?
Let's see, Christopher Yu.
Well, that
think
was
he finished.
unexpected.
He finished already, so I can get you Kyron Griffith with Don't Mess With Me too, which I have no idea who that is, so I actually had Don't Mess With Me. I have to look it up.
Maybe we can run back up though to
Shana.
Safarli's game
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
because we're starting to run out of time and
Yeah.
I'm wondering now
top boards.
who's winning? Who's got the most points now?
So currently, we
These guys
have.
are still battling it out. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Christopher Yu has 4 out of 5, but then we have a bunch of 4s who haven't finished, right? So it's really, we can't really tell yet because they are still playing.
Safarli is still trying to do something here, or what? I'm not sure what's going on here. This is quite
Can you hold
complicated.
with pawn takes, and bishop e5?
Well, let's see. Pawn takes. Is it possible White will
Maybe
play
not. Maybe
bishop
not.
e4 and then b5, threatening b6? So pawn takes c5, bishop e4, and then pawn to b5 with the idea of playing pawn to b6. There's some
Good
weird.
idea.
There's some stuff. Oh, he took back.
Well, it seems to me you can take the bishop.
And then c
Maybe
takes
not.
b6.
Maybe not. No, that may be a lost king and pawn ending.
No, well, that's going to be a drawn king and pawn ending, I think.
I don't know because the black king will be
But
out
it's
of
not going to be. It's White's going to play rook takes c7. He's not going to play rook d6, right? So if rook d5, c d6, rook d6, White's going to play rook c7 because if rook d6, c d6, king f4.
Yeah.
I mean, then black plays king d8, and king takes king c7, and king takes. Wow, I'm
It's getting hard.
lost here.
Well,
takes
It
6.
seems to me that the king and pawn ending, I wouldn't want to play it.
All right, there's a trap here. If c takes d6, if rook takes d5, c takes d6, rook takes d5, d takes c7. All right, so
Can you play d6?
here we are.
I'm wondering if you can play d6, cd here.
He did. Rook d6.
Yeah, that's better. I think that's better.
Wow.
Oh, now rook a7. This is complicated. Oh, then he played king f4. Okay, so White's still trying to win. This is a great game, by the way. This is a
A
very
lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch.
yeah.
And
There have been some moves that I wasn't sure about, and
I still think White's got chances to win this, obviously, but it's not entirely clear to me.
Black's tied down.
Can you play?
Black
Okay,
has to.
That's interesting. See, that goes against my instincts. You know, I don't want to advance my pawns if I'm trying to defend, but see now can he play rook e5 and rook e7?
And rook d6. Because he's blocking he's going to win the c6 pawn. Rook h6, f6.
F6.
Yeah.
And
And then we're
going
going to be down to another king and pawn ending, folks. Rook ending.
But again, the F and H pawns,
Yeah.
you don't have any winning chances, really.
I think Lenderman is going to be a better defender, but we'll see. I mean, this is going to be the.
Oh, yeah. I don't think White can win this.
It's going to be a repeat. C7,
Ooh,
King E6.
nasty.
Yikes! Black is on a tightrope here.
It's nasty. It's very nasty.
Rook C1.
That might be sufficient.
Yeah, I think this is white. Yeah, we're gonna get this 2-1 on the king side thing going again, but this should be handily drawn by Lenderman.
Well, if he gets to that position, he'll draw it. The only question
Well,
is,
nothing is for certain in these blitz games. We've seen some really wild things happen already. White's trying to find a way to finagle this.
the thing
I
is,
mean, you could start off by playing pawn h4 maybe, and trying to get that pawn a little closer.
I was thinking that too, but I also was thinking, can he play rook d6? I mean, king d6. And can he
Well,
survive that ending?
I
Because if
think
he,
Black needs to keep his king over near the king side.
well, you would think I would give you that, except now I'm thinking, can I hold these king and pawn endings? If the king, if the white king is not careful to keep advanced enough, but not if it drops too far back.
I think White's just going to have to play rook h5 at some point and then try to grind out this one pawn thing.
Yeah, but that's hopeless.
It's funny how the black king is just perfectly situated on e6. It prevents the white king from crossing through.
Oh, he's trying.
He's trying to dislodge it. He's trying to dislodge the black king now.
Oh, see, h4 was a good move because now you're going to try to win the king and pawn endings by getting the opposition.
Well,
But
that's a bit beyond me, Jim. Yeah, you would try to win the opposition, but just to have the pawn closer to the queening square.
well, I'm just thinking that if this
I think
does
White
not-
wants to play f5 check and king d5. That's maybe what he's thinking of. You know, as a desperate try to win, if there is a way to, you know. Actually, he's going to play. I know he's going to play rook h5, rook c7, f5 check. That's the threat. That is a big threat.
What if I just play king d6 then?
Then rook h6.
Rook f7.
Yeah, but then you're
And Gadir did win his game, so he's now 4.5 out of 5, so he's leading the board. If Conrad, Jim, or Milind win his game, then he. Oh no, Conrad or Jim win their game, then they're gonna catch up with him. But otherwise, he's the leader.
who is Gusinov?
Gadir, yes, Gadir
Yeah.
is the leader, 4.5 out of 5.
And he beat who did he beat in the
He beat
game?
Alexander Ovalensky,
That's right.
and I'm guessing he withdrew. I don't know. Maybe he didn't.
So is White going to play f5 check now, or take the pawn first, or what? I don't know.
I don't know either. If he takes the pawn, I'd play rook c4 check first and then take the pawn. So I don't think rook takes that h5 is good. So I would go with that f5, king d6, and then take the pawn. And that's where we're back where we were.
Here's a very
Yeah, this game is What? Lenderman is on the ropes here, and Safarli's trying to find a way through. Well, I'm not sure that there is a way through, but White's putting the pressure on here.
Oh, and black is running out of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is, White up in time, so he has the time to think, right? And he did think, but then it gives the opponent time to think as well, and he knows that the opponent is really low on time, right? So he shouldn't be leaving a lot of time for him to think.
Can he play king f5 here? Rook takes king g6, and then rook takes c2, c7.
That would be good. I think black is, yeah, maybe he doesn't want White to run up the king to d5, I think. So he's just kind of content to swat the ball back and forth.
Ouch.
I'm not sure what happened here. Oh, he's just going to check him all over the place and then return to c7. But then White's going to, and then on rook f6, play king e5.
No, but that's no good.
Well, I'm not sure that it's no good, but I mean, that's what he's trying to do. He might have figured that was the right way to play this position.
And
I mean, White's going to take on f6 with check, and black's going to play king e5 maybe, and
But then you just
White won't be able to defend both pawns or something. I don't know.
He goes back to f7 and you can defend both pawns.
No, but I mean after black's taken on c7.
No, I'm taking with check and then retreating to f7 and guarding that pawn.
And Jim and Conrad drew, so they are both 4 out of 5s. So they joined that bunch.
Wow.
4 out of 5s, and Chiron
This
is
is a
4 out of
dramatic
5,
finish.
and Abhinav is 4 out of 5, and Christopher is too. So it's very, very interesting. So basically,
It's packed up
Gadir,
at the top.
yeah, Gadir is, yeah, and then Christian is asking if the prices are based on USCF over the board is standard, and yes, they are.
Black's lost here, I
So-
think. Rook f6 and rook h6, maybe. Rook f6. Oh, he can. What did what happened here? What happens after rook f6 check?
King e5.
Well, then, like you say, rook f7.
All right. So you play.
And if you play king e7, then he plays the rook to h6, and then rook c7, rook h7 check. I think now black is very far away, but we've got the f and h pawn ending we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Can White win this? In theory, I think this is a draw, but in practice, this is going to be difficult for black to draw.
In practice, it is a very difficult situation. You're right.
The white rook is badly placed, and it might be easy for black to draw now because it cannot get much cover here. Look at this. Yeah,
Rook
already White's in Zugzwang. Rook h1, h5, rook h2.
Yeah, because what can you move?
And that occurred. That
It
actually
looks like
did
really
occur.
good technique to me.
That did occur. So we have a draw on the board, I think.
Mm-hmm. But he's still up on time a little bit,
Yeah,
which probably, I don't know, Alexander Lenderman is
this is a draw.
really,
Well, the rook pawn is notoriously
yeah.
difficult to win with the
Yeah.
rook pawn.
Well, the only thing White can try is rook g7, but then but this is an elementary draw. So
Yeah, because if he checks the king goes to f7. What are you going to do?
White's going to try to play rook g7 at some point. He's going to bring a rook around to g7. But so what? Black will just
so
play.
what? Then you
Black
go to
will
the
just-
h file and the king can't leave.
Yeah, it's a draw.
Wow, this is very interesting. So 2 more games, this and actually Rui's game.
Oh,
Nice move by
Yeah.
Black, actually. The correct move, I think.
Wow.
There's no way for White to win this.
I tend to agree.
So and Lenderman is strong enough. They should probably agree to a draw pretty soon.
But Lenderman has got his time back.
Well,
He played quickly.
an incredible defensive effort by Lenderman.
Yes, it is. I agree.
All the way from move 1.
And they are again last game, so
You
they're
gotta
gonna
play with
have
that
to
opening
start
ball.
playing the last game immediately.
Yeah, they're
So-
wearing themselves out for their opposition. Yeah. It does happen that players get tired and make elementary mistakes in these positions. You
I
don't
think
want it to be
Altash
you.
wants to win this tournament, so I think he's desperate for that. If yeah.
But Safarli,
Yeah,
Check.
I think I strongly believe he wants to win this tournament, so he doesn't want to draw because the draw gives him, 3 players in the same score group. But if he wins this, right, he's getting 5 out of 5, and he goes in the leader with half
Lenderman
point.
is not being challenged here.
yeah, but Lenderman is a strong grandmaster that's
Yeah.
not going to
Okay,
that's not
sounds
going
good.
to lose this.
Okay, last round.
Ah,
He took any question away.
Well, yeah, but anyway. And Altosh has to play Gadir, and then Lenderman is getting Conrad. And then Balaji
Good
playing
matchups.
with the Abhinav, 2 South Bay players. And Kyron is getting Jim Tarjan. And I think this is good enough. So let's go for the first board now that I opened up all the games.
Yeah.
So who's
So
tell me
the-
who?
So, as probably you can see, the leaders are three-way tie for first currently is Alexander, Altash, and Gadir. All are 4.5 out of 5. And Gadir playing Altash, and then Alexander is paired down with Conrad, who's the first in the
and there
4 out
are a
of
lot
5.
of players with 4 out of 5.
Lot of
Amazing.
players.
Yeah, so you're going to have some 5 out of 6 for
Yes,
Oh,
5 out
yeah.
of 6,
sure.
and
And if
the
the 4.5s draw, then
Well,
you're
they
gonna
can't.
You could
Yeah, that's
possibly
right.
have. You could
exactly,
possibly have an incredibly tied
exactly,
for first. Everybody's tied for first.
exactly. So I mean, it's really up for grab, and from the I have to see who that PQ chess.
So I think the tiebreak should be rapid chess.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know
So
if I could take.
Patrick Coot, which I have to see.
He's having a great tournament. Look at this. He's a 1600 player up here with all these grandmasters.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he's an 1800 players, right?
Even-
So
oh,
let me see, because that's the let me see
I'm
who
envision
he
he's
had.
here without thinking.
Yeah, so he beat Austin Mai last round, and he beat just
That's reasonable to try
usual
too. I can think of
1600
that.
players. He did beat Abhinav in the very first round, which which was a.
So he's having a good tournament.
Yeah, he is having a
Good
good
for him.
tournament. Yeah.
Are you gonna analyze some of those games, make sure that everything's on the up and up?
Yeah, and I quickly did that with my eye. I mean, in terms of just who he beat and what was the tournament accuracy and everything. It doesn't seem too suspicious, but
Good.
so
Congratulations.
I mean, that doesn't mean much, but at the same time,
It means enough for me.
we'll try
You passed
to.
the eye inspection.
Yeah, I mean that's what you have to do. You have to scan
Yep.
for accuracy, right? And I don't
Right.
see any of his accuracies higher than 97%, right? If it's 98, 99, that's suspicious. 97, especially when the opponent is very low, that means the opponent didn't have a good game, and it's easier to play more accurately if the
And
opponent.
that's right. A lot of moves are simple to find then.
Yeah, and the rest of his games are 95% accuracy, which is perfectly fine actually. So yeah. Yeah, so I don't see anything fishy. But let's see. So I think he's legitimately have a good tournament. All the others are not very surprising, right? I mean, all the other one is Kyron up there with a 2000-ish rating, but we don't even need to scan Kyron's game. We can probably put our hands in fire for him because.
Yeah.
I like that expression.
Do you guys have that expression in English too?
Probably something like it. Yeah.
Because in
What was the
Hungary,
expression?
put your hand in fire for a person.
Yes. We don't have a direct translation of that, but we know that expression.
So it's in Hungarian. So tűzbe
Yes,
tenni
but-
a kezet, right? So
But what it means is understandable to even us English speakers.
yeah. So I 100% trust Kyron. In fact,
Yeah.
I trust him 200%. He's one of our help when it comes to over the board and regular cheating detection. He's very diligent and very observant and always helps, never accuses but always helps, and
That's wonderfully said.
he's our third pair of eyes every tournament. So yeah, so I'm very happy with the tournament, how it shapes up. Clemens is up there with 3.5 points, which is really, really great to see. So he's been having a good tournament. That's good too. So
Well, this has been a great tournament to comment on, and I've really enjoyed some of these games, and some of these endings have been very instructional, which you don't always see in rapid play because so many of the games are determined by tactics. And to see these games that are actually interesting from an instructional point of view is just icing on the cake.
yeah. Yeah, it's very, very fun to see, and especially so many familiar names and faces. It's really fun.
Well, E6 seems to shore up the black's position.
Yeah, I
Bishop
think
beats-
this black has kind of given white everything that white wants in this opening, which is the smashing up the. This was a Sicilian with Bishop B5, and crippling the black pawn structure. So, but black has deliberately gone into this, and long range, I like white, but black sometimes, with the D5 and D4 squares can hold these or even use these positions to his advantage. So it's very much a question of, why did black willingly sort of go into this?
Yeah, I would have played Bishop D7 for that reason. I wouldn't have wanted my pawns crippled like that.
But they would have gotten crippled anyway because it can just
True.
take on C6. Yeah.
True.
But I mean, it was the choice and move or two before that made this happen. But it was a conscious choice by black. These positions can be difficult.
But the way I would
to
have
play
played it,
positionally, but they
the way I would have
sometimes-
played it, the white bishops would be off, and I think then black's position is easier to play. Now that was the question: was
Maybe.
where did that bishop belong? on E7 or D6, and I wasn't certain.
Well, the Grandmaster plays bishop to D6. Shall we look at some other games?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. So this is the top board, which one of the games that will decide if we have a clear first. The other board is Alexander Lenderman against Conrad Holt.
What a great matchup. Two French
and-
players.
Yeah, and Lenderman is with white here, and Conrad is
Doesn't
with
look like a
black.
friend.
And they played apparently the radio opening, right? If that means anything to you guys.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have this position, and this is, it's looking like
My
a
first
chess
instinct is to
position.
play pawn takes pawn.
Now, white might temporarily win a pawn in the middle of the board, but it's not going to do him much good, I think. Black has got a good. I think black is doing well out of this opening.
I agree.
I'm not sure exactly how this transpired, but okay. For example, if Queen D7, King D7, Pawn D5, black can take on D4 and then play Bishop B4, and actually black's going to end up in a better knight versus bishop ending.
Right.
So maybe white would take on D5 with the knight, Queen D7, King D7, Knight D5. Knight D5 takes. Then he ends up with double pawns on D5 and D4.
Undefendable pawn. Yeah.
Yeah, just this looks okay for black.
It's definitely okay. C5 was actually a good move. I was doubting it at first, but now I think that it was a strong.
Notice that we've got Lenderman kind of playing what looks like a reverse French position.
Good point.
And
Good point.
so that must have made Conrad nervous, because Conrad's a French player himself.
Yeah. So this is like one of the advanced versions of a classical French defense, where you put the question to the white squared bishop with H3, takes, and then he advances E5. And so it's really, that was also one of the things I was thinking might be good. But queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes.
Yeah, I don't think black has any problem there.
I agree.
And we're getting a kind of a bit of a peaceful game. And maybe Lenderman is, wanting to take it a little bit easy after that last game.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Black clearly has a spatial superiority, but I think D takes C was good so that he can get the bishop developed to a good square. You don't want it locked behind the F2, E3, D4 pawn chain. So
Yeah, white's trying to find a little space for his bishop at C1.
now takes, yeah, this is what I expected. And, you could hang on to this material.
If I'm
For a
black,
while.
I'm happy. If I'm black, I'm happy out of the opening here. I think.
Yeah. How could you not be?
Well, there's ways I could not be, if I wanted to. But
But Lenderman has to push for the win if he wants to win this tournament, right?
yeah, and certainly Holt needs to win. Needs to play for a win.
Yeah.
But I think black. If I'm black, I'm quite glad to get an easy equality out of the opening here, and to be able to play for a win from this position.
Well,
I
it's not
think
clear
black
to
is
me that
better.
it's equal. It's not clear to me that it's equal.
I think black is better here, maybe.
Okay, now I put bishop B2. Yeah. And So now you can't take on c5 without losing your g pawn.
Well, no, the G pawn is then rook G8 and rook G2. So that's not.
Yeah, but
either.
see, to me, this is a good exchange for white. But it's not clear. So I'm not going to say anybody's winning or better.
If I'm black, I'm happy that I got such an easy equality out of the opening, I think.
Of course. I agree with that. You know, when you say, could you give me this position from the start, you would take it. But I don't think it's without problems.
So what about the Safarli game? How's that going?
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had a little bit
No,
of
no,
issue
no,
to deal with, but yeah. So
No
Safari
apologies.
is 10 minutes versus Kadir is 7 minutes. But they do seem
I
to
did
be
not expect that.
seem to be in a equal position.
Yeah.
What has happened here?
What do you guys think?
Now I'm liking white. I don't understand what happened though. How did that bishop get on e5?
It went from bishop to d6 and then went to e5.
But why would you go to e5?
Well, I can go to d4. And it puts
Good point. I agree with that.
You know,
I agree with that because d4 is a good spot for it
Yeah.
if you can maintain it there. So then I don't know why I played rook a6 then. Because if I'm going to play the bishop to d4, I don't want the rook on a6.
I think the rook is on a6 after a recap. Well, I'm not sure how it ended up on a6, but
Maybe bishop a6, bishop takes, rook a takes back. Yeah, that's probably right.
you know.
That's probably exactly what happened.
Well, we got one of these positions where black has some chronic weaknesses. So, you know, again, it was a choice made way back at the beginning of the game to go into this. And, you know,
I still think
not always a good choice.
I could have gotten exactly this position without having to recapture on a6. Could have gotten rid of the white squared bishops earlier, and so my rooks would have still be connected. But, you know, it's not necessarily clear to me that it would have been that much better, but I think it would have been better. The problem I have with bishop on d4 is that c3 can one day be played. I mean, I'm kind of threatening knight a4 and c3.
Yeah, white's better here. I mean,
Yeah.
white is, you know, black's dealing with some systemic weaknesses that go back to the fifth move of the game, and that's the issue here. Black wants to play a4 or c4, and right now he can't do it. So this is black's problem. He's slightly worse, you know, maybe even more than slightly worse. And we're just going to have to see how it plays out if white can, you know, exploit this advantage that he has here. What about the third board, the Tarzan game? Is Tarzan on third board?
They are actually on fourth. The third board, just quickly peek into, is two of the South Bay kids, Abhinav and the Chess to the Sun, which is Balaji.
Yeah.
So these are two local boys with
Pretty cool.
with 4 out of 5. So pretty amazing.
Okay, I like white. I'll just go out on a limb and say I like white here.
What about you, Paul? Who do you like? Do you want to take against
I
black?
like the player that's got the better game. I mean, I'm just still looking at it. I'm still looking at it. And
Yeah,
trying
see,
to
I was willing to
figure out
make a
what's going on.
commitment without looking at it.
You're pretty brave, Jim. That's bravery. That's bravery, right?
That's what I say, anyways.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so if white can play A4 to A8 and make a queen, that's one idea for white.
There you go.
Black can try to play pawn to D5.
Black's gonna
Yeah,
play D5.
white's got some space, and looks like white is definitely better here.
I would like white, but D5 is going to be played, and I don't see white stopping it. Unless
Anyway,
you
the
play-
game is far from over here, and
Maybe rook
lots
takes, queen
going
takes,
on.
and then queen D1. Maybe that puts a.
Yeah.
Then queen C4 or something. I mean, I was looking at.
Yeah, there's too many pawns weak there. Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities.
Well, then maybe I can take on D6.
Yeah, you could take on D6. So, but that's just something I'm throwing out there.
No, I agree with you. There has to be calculations, and he didn't do it anyways.
Yeah.
So he's trying to stop D5 another way. But does that do it?
Yeah, white's in the driver's seat here.
And he should be, because he is a FIDE master versus Abhinav is a strong, I think, 2100 rated player. So if we just take their over the board rating,
Yeah.
my bet would be on Balaji.
Black has trouble finding a good square for his knight, and it's. So, what about the Tarzan game?
So
What about
yeah,
G5?
absolutely. So,
That is
but they
correct.
are still good. Okay, but okay, Tarzan is playing
Board 4.
Kyron Griffith.
Okay.
So Kyron is one of the players with lower rapid rating, but of course we know that Kyron actually has a pretty good over the board rating, and he's playing the Jim Tarzan who we talked about.
Nice
Extensively.
complicated game here.
Yeah.
Is Tarzan black?
No,
Tarzan is white. Kyron is
Tarzan's
black.
white.
Yeah. And so for those of you just joining us, Kyron, even though his rating that shows next to his name is 2047, his over the board rating is 2470 actually, regular rating. So just something to keep in mind that he's up there because of that probably.
From
Yeah.
a pawn structure point of view, black's pawns are in 3 islands, and I'm not sure if he can play E6, then he's going to have an isolated D pawn. So I think from a pawn structural standpoint, white is a little bit better. Black does have the 2 bishops, but it's not clear that they can be made use of. I'm sorry to punt on this, but it's very hard to calculate these positions. And
Well, I mean, you're not a, yeah. So black, we got to find a good move for black here. Rook C4. Rook C4 can be met by probably, I'm not sure what Rook C4.
Bishop D3 can just make it run away.
No, then maybe Rook F3. There's all kinds of things going on here.
Good point. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so black wants to play Queen F2. Check.
But what about F3 now?
Or F4.
F4 was
F4.
played and then taken. So
Yeah, now
Oh,
black
no,
is
not
getting
taken,
some
yeah.
counterplay. F4 has been played.
yep, and then bishop went back and now rook C1.
So white dreams of playing knight to C6 or something, or
Yes, clearly.
Oh, Abel is back.
Yeah. Hi, Abel.
How's it going?
All right.
How'd you do?
Did you flunk or did you?
I didn't know that he's gonna be back. Okay.
Yeah, I was just hanging around.
You felt sorry for us?
No, I was watching the broadcast, and I felt like I was like missing out, and
We're
wanted
glad you're back.
to jump back
Yeah.
in. But I actually forgot to answer one of the questions.
Jesus Christ! And did
Well,
they
the thing is, it's 20 questions, and you only have an hour to do it. And it's actually hard. It's 20 questions in an hour, right?
Uh-huh.
And you gotta it's
Did they let you send it back or no?
no.
Because
So
it
actually,
was-
I skipped one, right, to go to test
Uh-huh.
taking techniques and it had everything right, but then you have to like convert it into a PDF and it has to be emailed a certain way. So by the time I was just happy to get it done, it was like getting right close to the hour. I sent it and then I realized after the fact that there was a question that the one that I skipped I never went back to. But
Yeah.
I feel comfortable enough in how I answered all the other ones that I think I'll be all right. But if they look at that as like, well, how can you train kids if you're like forgetting to answer a question? They're going to fail you automatically. Then so be it.
I don't think
That's
how
not
it
going to
works.
happen,
I don't
Ava.
think that's how it works.
I don't know if that's how it works, but probably not.
No.
Well, not in my book, but my book doesn't count.
So we got some good games here in the final round.
Yes, and so many of these games, Abel, I have not been able to make up my mind who's better. So it's been very entertaining for me from that standpoint.
So Judith and our analysis would have been just as good.
Pretty much. I think
That's
I
very
haven't
nice
been
of you
able
say,
to
Jim,
make a
but probably
definitive
not.
assessment. And Paul and I have both ended up saying it's complicated.
That works.
I'm actually glad to see that Safarli and Gusenov were playing. I don't know how close they are. I think you would objectively look at this and say, oh, maybe they'll like just play to a draw. But it looks like they're playing. And
Christopher won his game against Putches, which was not a surprise. So Christopher is 5 out of 6. He secured that. So let's see how many of the other players are joining him in that score group, or if we have anyone 5.5 and takes the
What's
lead.
Tarzan's plan here? I see it
So-
now. Okay.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to end in a draw.
I couldn't agree more. It certainly seems
I
that
think
way.
White's just going to put the knight on D3 and prevent Black from taking on B4 and A5, and then
And so how does it doesn't seem that Black can make a big. There's no real break in here that I can see, because I'm going to play King F3, Knight D3 if the exchange is made. I think White has a solid position, and I don't think E6.
so is Kyron maybe thinking about playing Rook C4 here. This is where rapid games kind of are bad, because you have a position like this and you want to try to do something, but you don't have enough time to really work it out, and then you play the safe move. And so, for example, here, Rook C4 is kind of an attractive looking move for Black, but dare he play it with the time situation being what it is? And otherwise, you're just going to play Rook C1 and you'll be happy with that. So this is the disadvantage of these fast time controls, is you're not able to sort of go deeper into positions that you could in other games.
he took the easy way out.
Well, it's not that it's
But
something like the
simpler.
easy way, yeah.
It's simpler.
Easy way in
No.
round 6, final match.
just the easy way.
Yeah. So let's look at the Gusenov. This is an interesting position here.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so let's look at the first top.
Yeah, I'll
top
just go
four.
back and continue to say that it just seems like there's no way for Black to penetrate.
Yeah.
well, there's Bishop D1. If I can go Bishop G4, Bishop D1, Bishop B3, and Bishop C4 or something like that. All right,
I did switch it to the first board because that's gonna determine the championship.
Okay.
Right, or the
Lenderman.
second game, and the second game, obviously.
Because Lenderman looks like he's up a pawn.
Should
And
we
I think
peek
if
into that
they-
one either?
And Gusenov has won a pawn against Safarli.
Wow.
Safarli's poor choice of opening,
Yeah.
has been kind of to blame for this. Might be able to hold it, but he kind of, let White do what White wanted to do, and now he's a pawn down.
Well, White seems like it clearly better and probably winning would be my assessment, because
Mhm.
now Rook C5 ties. Well, he didn't even do that. Interesting.
It looks like Conrad Holt sacrificed a piece for pawns just
Yeah,
to
let's
get.
see that game. Let's
Get-
definitely.
Yeah,
see
so
that
I'm gonna
game.
switch to that one. So Alexander Landerman is white against Conrad Holt, and the other viewers. Alexander had a long game last round. He was the
Whoa.
last to finish with Altaj.
Oh,
This
wow.
seems like something's happening here, and I don't know what it is.
And I don't know Jim either, so that makes two of us. Okay.
Wow.
So black's
my
got a
God.
little bit of a issue here. If he plays Rook F3 check, King G, yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
play Rook F3 check.
Yeah.
Now his knight is trapped,
Yeah.
but he's got this pin on the D file. That's just horrible for white here. At the
Yeah.
moment.
You could play King F2, King E1.
He's going to have to, but meanwhile, black is going to go pawn munching. Maybe not enough.
Not enough to me, but maybe.
You know, Lenderman was very solid here. I'm not sure how the piece sack happened, but this is
Okay, tell
Black-
me who's white and who's black in this game.
Black is Conrad, and white is Alexander Landerman, who just finished previous game with Altaj, previous round. Remember, we covered that game all till the end. So,
Yes.
Black's probably got good drawing chances here.
Whoa!
Oh no, he blundered. Oh no,
No, he didn't. Yeah,
Oh, great
it was a
move.
clever.
Actually, Bishop E3 is a great move.
It was a clever way to save the C pawn.
Yeah, that's it. I think this game is quite lost now.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
wow.
This is,
White lost.
Oh, that's a brutal move too. Rook D2.
Oh yeah, checking on
Going to Rook D7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
Okay.
That's the kind of move
So,
that.
separates the men from the boys.
Yeah, it does, because having good technique at the end
Yeah.
is
It's over. Well done.
Fantastic.
Landerman
Landerman-
is sole leader now with 5.5. So
And
Altaj
Ki-
and Gusainov, someone has to win in order for.
Well, Gustanov is the only one that can do it from the game that we were looking at. Safarli
So,
had
Yeah.
a miserable.
He got another pawn, apparently, it looks like.
so yeah, he did get another pawn. So,
But it's actually not as horrible as it could have been.
and
Yes.
Landerman
Well, I
is
think
actually.
It's pretty horrible. Don't get me wrong.
And I know one person who's gonna be happy with Landerman's performance. Landerman is currently a student of Webster University, and he's at
Is that
Susan's
right?
Susan's team. So
Wow. So how long has he been
I
a
think
member
this
there?
was the first year. So
Wow, I didn't know that.
so
Wow.
He's
New
a
recruit.
Olympic team, winning Olympic team member and everything.
yeah. So
I think White should win this, but we see crazy things happen
There are
here.
technical difficulties.
yeah.
But why not play Rook D1? Oh, I see. He's trying to. Oh, that's nasty. I see what he's thinking. He's going to play Rook F to F1, and he's going to try to make mischief. Does that solve the problem? I don't think so.
How did the Russian Grandmaster do in his last game? Or is
The
he out of the tournament?
he's probably he withdrew, but
I
or
see,
maybe
yeah.
he didn't withdraw because
Right.
that's.
No,
It's
he's
tough.
playing.
He's
playing the
playing, but
mechanics.
he's like he was 3 out of 5.
He's playing. He's playing Jeremy Coffin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry.
he's 3 out of. Well, that's very nice of him that he plays.
Yeah. Stay
Yeah,
on
okay,
in.
Rook G3 here. If you go to the F file, I'd play Rook F3. Unless you go to F5. I'm still not convinced. Maybe F5 is okay. F4, rather. F4. King F4.
That's still a mating net. Okay. So maybe Rook G3 is not the right idea. What do you play?
This is going to be a dramatic finish here.
I don't know what to play here.
Kusanov is down to 30 seconds, and Safarli's only got 14 seconds. So
Yeah, very, very. And we only
What do you
have
do here? King
6
G3?
more games.
Rook F3 directly. Okay. That makes sense.
so the White King is trying to come out at E3.
Yes, and he can. So this is very well done by White. I'm really impressed. He's going to try to stop it, but just play King E3.
Yeah, White's just finding his way to win this. It was inevitable, I think, that he's still tied up, but something got to give here for
The doubling on the F file was magnificent.
Okay, and he ran out
yeah.
of
This
time.
game is over.
I think so.
Rook F4. What's the problem?
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, that was not Safar. This was not Safarli's game from the beginning.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
Just
He's
you know,
totally under pressure though.
fell in with all of White's plan.
Yeah.
And
Well, if I'm reading it right, Kyron is up 2 pawns.
okay.
What are you
And
guys
so
thinking?
Lenderman is the clear winner of the tournament.
No,
Is that correct?
not Lenderman, not the clear winner, because Gadir won the game and he's 5
Oh,
out of 5.5
okay.
out of 5.
That's right. He was the other. That's right.
So
it wasn't. Yeah.
it's a 2-way tie for first. And we have a 5 out of 6 currently. But let's see what this game
is-
will come.
Kyron may be 2 pawns up, but he's not going to win this.
Yeah.
Sorry, my Twitch just blew up.
Okay, why won't he win this?
Because
Educate me.
there is a perfect blockade here.
Perfect.
The opposite color bishop.
Yeah, the opposite colored bishops. And so,
He can't
Okay.
force that white king.
yeah, this is just, yeah.
My browser
Okay,
encountered an error. Uh-oh.
Well, there's nothing to play for here. There's just no way that Black can do anything.
And a lot of people are in the tournament chat. This is very much drawn.
Yeah. Is this the last game of the tournament?
Pretty much. Yes, actually it is.
So neither of these players, they're going to fit. So we've got
Yeah.
a tie at the top.
Yes.
And you know, Jeremy Cawthon drew his game with the GM, but the GM was up like a piece. So I don't know if he just got tired and
Wow.
wanted to
Yeah.
leave or what, but
So
it was fortunate for him. Well, there we are.
You.
We got the standings right there.
Yep.
Alexander Lenderman and Gadir Guseyanov tied for first.
Wow.
Co-champions of the Mechanics Institute Rapid.
And Lenderman got lucky against, I forgot who it was. Farley, I think.
Let
He held a
let
tough
me
ending.
check because I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
He
trying to
Very,
pull it
very
up.
tough game. Safarli, yeah,
Yeah.
all the way from the beginning. So for that defensive effort, I think
Yeah.
You should give him the tiebreak.
yeah.
What's that?
And then we have the
You
tie
need
for
the tie
third
break,
with
yeah.
Christopher Yu and Balaji Dagupati.
There
It
you
was
go.
a great performance for him. Strong players.
For you,
24.
hitting a high note again. He's finished tied for third in
Yeah, he
most
cashed.
of our most of our
well.
events
Yeah, as did Lunderman.
with the Grandmasters. I mean, you know, he's
And actually,
holding his own.
yeah, and then this one was a lot tougher. And you know, like our players did well. Elliot got 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
Rui 4 out of 6. Abi 4 out of 6.
Good results.
Yeah, Clemens, Biasis.
Yeah.
Oh, Biasis lost that heartbreaking game.
And
yeah.
and of course Holt played every strong player in the tournament.
Of
So I
course.
mean,
Yeah.
he lost a couple of games, but
But he can't. Yeah, he holds his head high.
Yeah.
yeah, he
Very well.
holds his head high.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
do think that this is another fantastic event, and I can't believe how many games I was just fascinated by. You know, really struggling to understand them, who had the advantage, and a lot of the games that we play, it's clear. We were commentating on. It's clear who has the advantage, and in this game, these games, I was constantly reevaluating the position based on moves, and of course they're grandmasters, so they were playing moves that I didn't anticipate, and then my evaluation of the position would change. So it was fascinating to me to watch it.
No, we're getting, you know, and, you know, for us too, and Judith, when we've done like events together, it's like the joy is like when it's all over, not just because it's over, but because we see, you know, people enjoyed the experience and had a good time and they loved it. We're, you know, we're seeing it in the chat. And
you guys made it happen. And it is really a service that you're providing, you know, for Paul and myself, but for all the players and all the viewers, they must have had a good time as well.
You know, and it was something to do, something positive to do on this weekend.
And I want to also mention that there are a lot of grandmasters who reached out to us last minute, or we reached out to them, and those are perfectly good and fine, and we are so really, really happy. But guess who was the first to grandmaster a week before the event happens? It was Gadir and Alexander who signed up and said, I want to play.
Nice.
And Alex registered, I think, 2 weeks ago. And Gadir also reached out to me message-wise 10 days ago. So I feel there's a reward for planning early.
Yes. And when
Yeah.
you get a couple grandmasters, then you attract more.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
good job.
And so thank you for them. And although this is not the event where we have a chance to advertise too much of what we have, right? Obviously we try to do that, but it means a lot to me and to us as organizers that we have these grandmasters who trust us from very beginning whenever we really don't have anything yet planned. So it's
And
really
the other thing is like what doesn't exist with like these grandmasters and a lot of our players and a lot of our strong players, like there's not really egos where they, you know, I mean, they come out to support, they come out and play, and everyone comes out, and we're not dealing with, you know, you know, I need to get this for that, and not to diminish the professionalism of professional chess and grandmasters and what have you, but you know, we obviously, you know, have some limitations of what we can do, and for them to come out and support an event like this for our community, it will come back to them, I'm sure, in some positive way.
It's this or Netflix, right? So
Exactly.
we're providing a service to them as well.
You know, hats off to Elshan. Elshan is joining us from Baku, which is like mornings 4 a.m. there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
that's
said
wow.
yes, he
Time
texted
zone.
yesterday, okay, time to go to bed, it's 6 a.m. So yep. So I mean they
That's
do.
a chess player for
Yeah,
you.
that's the life of chess player. But so seriously, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. So.
And you know what? You know, you're providing the community spirit for the mechanics players, but you're also doing a great service for the Mechanics Institute. It's a cultural landmark in San Francisco, but you're bringing attention to it, to players from Baku.
And people got to play grandmasters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And legends like Tarzan or Rhodes. So.
How did Tarzan do?
Exactly.
Tarzan, let's see. So Tarzan got 6th place based on tiebreakers, but shared the 5th place with 3 other players.
Great
Altaj
result.
and Kyron, 4.5 out of 6. So shared 5th place. So
Tied with Safarli and Kyron Griffith.
Yeah.
Great result for
Yeah.
Kyron too.
Yes.
And as a reminder, prize funds, they don't we don't award prize funds based on tie breaks, but we're going to split the money based on who's in the same score group. So
Right.
Wait a minute, I thought we were going to split it with Jim and you and Abel and me.
Yeah,
I thought we were going to
wish.
split it.
No,
Well, of course, we skim off the top, Paul.
no, we don't do that.
So the
just
the
skim off
final
the
results
milk
will be
of the
about
milk.
2 to 3 days as we wait for the fair play
Yeah.
to happen.
Yep.
And I mean, we'll post the tentative, and then we'll post the final results. And then for those that won, the Mechanics Institute, it is a full-on organization. So we have accounting to go through and all of that. So that'll be a couple of weeks. But if you don't have your mailing address, we will reach out to you and get that. And the checks will be in the mail.
Yeah, and as we stated, if you are a foreign player, we do need to keep 30% for tax purposes, but I'm sure the accountant Jen will handle all that. She's a professional, so so we'll do that. But all in all, it was a great event, and congratulations to Alex and Gadir, and few more days, and we'll post the final standing.
Yeah, and then we'll
And I'm
probably...
sure they'll be the same. You know, I'm sure everybody.
Yeah, actually,
fairly.
I'm fairly confident too, especially in the
Yes.
top, because I mean, we have talked, you know, the one of few players who did stronger than expected. They seem really clean, and so, or they seem clean, so it's a good
Right.
good.
They passed the Judith test.
They passed the Judith
They
test.
passed the
and then,
Judith eye
and we'll
test.
see if they pass the chess.com and then the Ken Reagan test.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
So those two those are the harder ones to pass.
Yeah. If you get an okay from Ken Reagan, you get an okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's absolutely for sure. So, anyway.
well, everyone, thank you for pulling off this amazing weekend. Thank you, Judith, for all the hard work, and thanks for
Yes.
kind of providing the coverage, Paul and Jim.
Yeah.
And
So
we'll
what's
get,
next?
This was fun.
yeah,
What's next?
Yeah.
It's always fun when Paul and I disagree, and we can hammer it out on air so everybody can listen to us argue.
Yeah, that's entertaining. So what's next
Well,
for us?
Battle
Abel?
of chess ideas.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so what do we do now? Like Judith's already thinking of, okay, what's the next big
Well,
thing we
let's
can
let's
do?
leave the show with what they can look forward to. So what's next?
Well, the big thing that we got coming is the Northern California online invitational. That is a 6-player round robin that's going to be on Sunday, June 21st at 2 p.m. It's going to be Sam Shanklin, Steven Zierk, grandmasters in their own right, and Zviad Azoria. And the other 3 are going to be made up of the last 3 recipients of the Mechanics Institute Neil Falconer Award, given to the highest rated under 18-year-old Northern California player. And those 3 are Christopher Yu, Cameron Wheeler, and Andrew Hong. So 3 IMs and 3 GMs in a mechanics round robin.
Wow.
And Shanklin and Zirk are also previous recipients of that Falconer Award.
Yeah,
5
so
out of 6.
5 out of 6.
And just for those who don't know, the Falconer Award, it's a cash prize in the amount of their rating at the end of the year, right? So Christopher Yu's rating was like 25, 30,
yeah.
and that's what he got.
And it's for the memory of Neil Falconer, who was a great friend to chess.
Yeah, and a trustee at the Mechanics Institute. You know.
Yes, longtime
Yeah.
trustee at the Mechanics Institute. His
Yeah.
heart was always in the right place. So it's a
And-
fitting remembrance for Neil as well.
Yeah,
And,
it sort of combines everything with the mechanics, right? With the past and the present, and it's going to be a fun afternoon.
And who made it happen is the Jim Eid. Thank you, Jim. He was the one who offered the prize fund for this tournament, so that the players have something to play for,
Eatfoundation.org.
right? So thank you, Jim. So yeah.
It's my honor as well as my pleasure.
So that's
Because
the
I will
next
be
one we are looking
criticizing
forward to.
their
and-
moves, and that gives me it's worth the money, you know.
Right. And then they won't take it as hard now.
No.
They have a little cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when a great player is giving a simul, in the old days, this is true.
Thanks, Manas.
He would always say, he would always go in and say, "Who's the treasurer?" Because you never wanted to beat the treasurer. Give the treasurer a draw, because that way you were sure you were going to get paid. So, if your accountant at the Mechanics Institute accountant wants to play in the simuls, tip off the player giving the simul.
Jen is guaranteed not to lose.
Yeah.
I thought it was the tournament director that always won.
And actually, and Jen plays chess. She knows how to play chess, and she's.
should-
Does she want to play for money?
No,
So
but
send her your
we
way,
should
or-
have her stay for Tuesday in a marathon, and she can start playing.
Maybe we do
With
like
Mike
an
Hillard,
exhibition 3-game match with Judith and Jen.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then
That
we'll
would be
take bets on the side.
Actually, that's the thing we should do. We should see if she would play one round in the Tuesday night, or even a Tuesday night online,
Yeah,
right?
And yeah.
yeah,
And we'll
she
zoom
should.
her in. We'll get
Never-
the whole
never late
institute
to
of
start.
taking chess.
Anyway, thank you everyone for your support and follow us.
And we will
Thank
see
you.
you again.
Thanks,
And,
you guys.
We're gonna take a rest,
Yes.
and we will see you soon.
Tuesday.
And for everyone watching, if you're still out there, Tuesday night online, that's the tournament you want to join. We will be on 6:30 p.m. this Tuesday. So come check out the action. Come take part. We're gonna get some rest. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, and we are
congratulations to them.
relaying our viewers to a very fun
Night, everyone.
channel, Grandmaster Naroditsky. Guys, enjoy Daniel. He's the most entertaining Twitcher, I think. He's just fun. So enjoy, guys. Okay.
See you
Bye.
later.
Good night.
Okay.
Go Raid.
And I'm rating right now.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
And
Go Bears.